It's deja vu all over again. For the second straight year, Rochester, New York is the host to the 4-5 matchup in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals here in United Soccer League postseason. And wouldn't you know it, it's the Charlotte Independents once again traveling to Capelli Sports Stadium to exact revenge on a side that ended their season almost a year ago to the day. Charlotte and Rochester to duke it out for a spot in the conference semifinals. And you see here, Louisville City has already booked their ticket to the conference semifinals by beating Bethlehem Steel 4-0 a night ago. Great performance from James O'Connor and their crew as they were able to get by Brandenburg's side by a score of 4-0. A brace by Tarek Morad and joined by none other than ex-German pro Devin Kerr on Tyler Terrens. And Devin, both of these teams more than deservedly in the postseason. However, they entered the playoffs trending in very different directions.
Well, it's crazy to see that we're going to have the matchup at this 4-5 slot this evening. Wasn't sure how things were going to turn out. Now we've got it, and they're going to get to work. The Rochester Rhinos on a 3-game winning streak, happens to be the longest of their season. Unfortunately for Charlotte, trending in the opposite direction, have lost 5 in a row, winless in their last 6. But again, it's a new season, it's 90 minutes, one playoff, it's go time.
Absolutely, and we have a couple of star players that we're going to keep an eye on. And one of them, most importantly for Charlotte, Enzo Martinez. He's been in great form all season. However, he hasn't scored since September the 2nd.
And that's crazy to think. I mean, we're considering his name for an MVP candidate. Haven't been able to put anything in the back of the net, but I'll tell you what, he is still an extremely dynamic and dangerous player. He can beat you from the spot, as you see there. He'll beat you on a dead ball situation, 1v1, down the channel. I mean, you name it. The guy's got all the tools. He's got every trick in the book. All he needs to do is put it together to try and put something away and help his team to victory this evening.
And then on the other side for Bob Lilly, a man who scored a massive goal in their last match against New York Red Bulls too, Canardo Forbes.
And I think Canardo Forbes and the entire midfield of the Rochester Rhinos are going to have to bring something special tonight, because that's where the game is going to be won, in the trenches and the nitty-gritty of this field at Capelli Stadium. And I'll tell you what, if anybody's going to lead him to victory, it's going to be Canardo Forbes. You see 3 goals and 5 assists this season. He is an excellent combination player. He's got great speed, and I love his vision. He can pick you out at a moment's notice anywhere on the field. Absolutely tremendous player.
Absolutely, and now we'll take a look at the starting 11 for Mike Jeffries. The visiting side and starting lineups brought to you by Monroe. And a little bit of a different look for Mike Jeffries. Jorge Herrera is going to slide out. He's usually in the number 9 spot where Caleb Calvert is, and Calvert getting his first start of the season.
We've also got Ross sliding back into the middle. So Mike Jeffries choosing to show a different look and move some things around. They'd like to get Alex Martinez involved a little bit more going forward, but the X factor, what is Caleb Calvert going to do to that back line of the Rochester Rhinos? Are they going to try and stretch and bring pace down the line? Are they going to go a little bit more possession-oriented? I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
And then on the other side for Bob Lilly, it's really business as usual. This is a side who's on their longest winning streak of the season, albeit 3 games, but they're in terrific form. They love the 3-4-3 action they've been using lately.
Lilly just saying they're not lacking any confidence whatsoever. They don't care who's in front of them. All it is 90 minutes, and they're going to go, and they're going to do what they do best. Gomez in the back, phenomenal goalkeeper. They're going to keep Pratzner, Farrell, and Felix in the back as well. But watch for the combination between Forbes and Wall in the middle, pushing up top to James, and the talented Graf up top. Watch him on set pieces and corner kicks. He has excellent leaping ability.
An exact rematch from a year ago. Charlotte Independents looking to exact revenge. Bob Lilly and his side looking to move on to the conference semifinals. We'll see who comes out on top when we come back next.
Wherever you are, you'll find it online at robhonda.com. Want to know the monthly payment? Use our finance calculator and get pre-approved credit too. Have a trade-in? We'll tell you the value before you even come in. It's all online at robhonda.com.
There's another reason I'm here.
We're gonna add one last station.
No matter what's important in your life, M&T Bank wants you to enjoy more of it. With conveniences to make your life easier, we're here to help you spend less time banking and more time doing what you love.
When I grow up, I'm gonna redefine pizza. One that will change the history of pizza forever. A pizza with the most cheese and the most pepperoni. This is my dream, and I can do it. because my mom and dad said I can accomplish anything. And I will do great things in life.
Sorry, kid, it's been done.
But my dream...
Introducing Little Caesars Extra Most Bestest Pizza. A large pizza with the most cheese and the most pepperoni for just $6.
Pizza, pizza.
You'll find it online at RalphHonda.com. We know you're busy. That's why we make buying a car easy. Shop our entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on the go, at your desk, or wherever you are. Click on the new generation at Ralph Honda.
Back here at the Capelli Sports Stadium in Western New York, as we are just moments away from the Eastern Conference quarterfinals 4-5 matchup, an exact repeat of the match from a year ago, which saw Rochester come away with a 3-1 win. A very emotional game. 3 players were sent off. And we were talking with Bob Lilly, and he said it's not so much really an emotional game or anything of that nature. It's just another game on the schedule against a very talented Charlotte team who are by no means overlooking tonight.
Yeah, Bob Lilly can say that. I'm sure Mike Jeffries has a different message for his boys in the other locker room, because revenge is a dish best served cold. And even though they're on a cold streak right now, make no mistake about it, the Charlotte Independents are coming hot, coming fast, push numbers forward, get on the board, and show Rochester that they're here to play.
Absolutely, and 2 men who are going to be very important to either team's success tonight, and one in particular who's really been an integral part to this Rochester defense, which is second best in the USL this season. Tomas Gomez, back-to-back Golden Glove winner, but Cody Mizell on the other side is no slouch.
I mean, the 2 of them in general, you could even make the argument that maybe even an MVP for their team. I mean, they've done so well for so long. I mean, Tomas Gomez in the back for the Rochester Rhinos. 28 goals against for the Rhinos this year. That's best in the USL East, second best in the USL overall. So again, a very stingy defense. On the other side of the coin, Charlotte Independents have been looking to put up goals, and they did very well for quite some time, having a 12-game unbeaten streak in the middle of the season, doing well, in great form, not able to do so as of late, but again, look at the firepower that they possess. If they can get those things clicking early, they are going to be very dangerous tonight.
Absolutely, and we are underway from the Capelli Sports Stadium. Tyler Terrens along with ex-German pro Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us in what should be a scintillating 90 minutes and perhaps beyond, as this is a Rochester team who we mentioned before has only conceded 28 goals this year, but they're not exactly, the best offensive team in the league. They're only good for about a little more than a goal a game.
We gave it away, the 36 goals for on the stat sheet. Yeah, I mean, but again, goals win games, but they say behind a great championship team is the best defense. So you can make that argument for Rochester, and I'm sure Charlotte would love to be in that situation as well, because coming down the stretch, though they faltered and haven't been able to put goals in the back of the net, they're actually giving up goals as well. So that you can have a great performance and only give up a goal a game here or there. But if you're not putting something away and putting numbers up, you're not going to move on to the next round in this situation.
Well, the Charlotte Independents are certainly familiar with not finishing off their chances. They've only scored 2 goals in their last 5 games, and their most dynamic players up top, being Enzo Martinez and Jorge Herrera, have been kept cold for basically the month of September and October in Enzo's case, and for Jorge Herrera it dates back all the way to July 29th, and that's really been the reason for this 5-match losing streak for Charlotte, the longest in club history.
Well, and we talk about the frustrations in general, and I understand that, but at the end of the day, you're a professional and you got to go out and you got to get a job done. Everybody goes through slumps. That's okay. Mike Jeffries said, we've kind of tried to loosen the guys up a little bit. We talked about them taking them bowling a few weeks ago, so we had a nice little laugh, but again, I talked about the X factor at the beginning of the broadcast. He's really been a silver lining for this squad in Caleb Calvert. He scored some amazing goals, but I just really like the dimension that he gives this squad, stretching the back line of defenses so deep, allowing players to run in behind. He's great in the air, so since he's come into the squad, I really think he's lit them up and pushing them in a positive direction.
Calvert was signed just with 6 matches remaining in the regular season. He's the youngest player ever signed to a homegrown contract with Chivas. And then he ended up at Colorado Rapids, and in his first game where he scored a goal for the Rapids, which was actually this year, it was the same match where he was also sent off for 2 yellow cards, one for dissent and then another one for re-entering the field improperly. So it's certainly been a roller coaster of a year for Caleb Calvert, but Mike Jeffries is hoping that for the 3rd year in a row, which Calvert has joined the Charlotte Independents late in the season, that he's able to provide something that's been missing up top. David Estrada is not starting tonight. He's usually starting in that role where Jorge Herrera is playing tonight, where Caleb Calvert is filling in for Herrera. But Estrada's a guy who scored a brace against Rochester earlier in the season. They split the season series 1-1 in the regular season, and it was a great performance from Estrada. Wall had a penalty kick. But it should be very interesting to see what he's going to bring. He had that phenomenal goal against Louisville.
Tyler, Charlotte was able to take them down, like you said, 2-1 in their last meeting on July 1st, and Estrada bagged a brace, and that was beautiful. And unfortunately, tracking back a little further, back on April 29th, they had a rough go of it. They got a drubbing, a 4-0 drubbing, and Rochester just played lights out. They looked amazing, and I think the split is going to give a little bit of confusion between the two squads. What exactly are we going to see tonight? Curious from the Charlotte Independents what they're going to do with their outside backs, because Austin Yearwood and Joel Johnson like to get up the pitch. They like to get in those overlapping runs, and the Martinez brothers know how to use them. I want to see how the Rochester backline is going to react to that, and then if they are able to stymie them and get the ball and go the other direction, how are they going to be coming out of the back and Charlotte tracking backwards? So a lot of chess matches going on, some boxing, if you will, and I think you're going to see an accurate representation in the opening moments. Kind of once they settle down, first 5 or 10 minutes, things are going to get moving. You'll see exactly what tactics are at play here tonight.
Rochester on the move. Nice little back heel from Groff. Didn't end up working out. Good sliding challenge from Herrera. Two different styles of football, if you will, for these two clubs. Now, Bob Lilly will claim that his team is by no means a defensive juggernaut or a team that likes to sit back, and he just says that throughout the course of the match, it sort of happens by accident where they get pinned down and then they hit you on the counter. But this is a side that has 14 clean sheets on the season, second in the USL. Tomas Gomez, again, as we mentioned, two-time Golden Glove winner back-to-back years. And it's just very interesting to hear how he thinks of his team and just in terms of how they relate to the rest of the USL. But these are two very different contrasting styles. Charlotte love to keep the ball, and you almost see these polarizing opposites. What can we expect in terms of a scoreline for this game, if you will?
Well, funny with Bob Lilly, all the goods do everything so great, and they're kind of so nonchalant about it. So I think he downplays his defensive standpoint a little bit. I'm sure they work on it a lot because they're impressive. I mean, they are impeccable at every single time in a match. For the most part, they don't give up a lot of goals. I think from a scoreline, you're probably going to see a very close game. Maybe a little bit rocky, to be honest, from a possession standpoint. Two teams that, they're going to try and win the possession battle. Lilly told us that. He said, I think we might have a hard time maintaining most of the ball because Mike Jeffrey's squad likes to get the ball, likes to move it around the pitch. You might see a 1-0 game, maybe even a 1-1 moving into extra time, but, what you'd really like to see is a couple goals early, start pushing the pace along, and see these boys have some fun.
Well, Charlotte's still in search of a victory. Last win came against Richmond over a month ago now, 3-0 decision. That was the last time Enzo Martinez scored on September 2nd. And then, as we mentioned before, for Rochester, longest winning streak of the season at 3 games. Only lost twice at home this season. Probably here in San Antonio, the two toughest places to play in the USL on either side of the Mississippi River. Herrera trying to come out wide for Alex Martinez. Yearwood providing the overlapping run, finding Enzo Martinez now. Enzo takes a quick look, has a rip, and it's just wide.
Yeah, Enzo Martinez trying to get on the board early. What a clever little turn. Nice little ball played in, and you can see Alex playing it into his brother. Quick little turn on the inside, 1 touch, 2 touch, and on his third one, he's just going to pick out that near post. Thought Tomas Gomez probably saw him going to the far corner, but impressive from Martinez in the early moments.
And that's a very good sign if you're Mike Jeffries to get your leading goal scorer and a potential USL MVP finalist for back-to-back years, getting going early, creating his own shot.
Yeah, you got to get that confidence rolling quick, especially when you're in such a difficult venue to play in, like the Capelli complex. It is very difficult to play here. I have a little bit of experience. It's loud, it's aggressive, and again, that back line, just when they continue to push forward and you can't break them down, it becomes more and more frustrating. So that's what Charlotte wants to see in the early moments of this game.
And of course, this is an exact rematch of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals from a year ago. A very emotional matchup back on October 1st in 2016. Charlotte finished with 8 men. Metcalf, Enzo Martinez, and Ju Marquez Davidson, the 3 players who eventually were sent off. While Fall had a hand, he had the insurance goal late in the game that really tucked it away for Rochester. They would go on to lose to New York Red Bulls 2 in the conference semifinal, an extremely dramatic game, which saw Brandon Allen equalize in the final moments of extra time. And then it would be New York Red Bulls 2 advancing to the conference finals and the eventual USL Cup winners in 2016. And talking to Mike Jeffries, he doesn't see it as a revenge game at all. And while there might be a little bit something extra in it, Charlotte committing the foul there in a rather precarious area. Have to imagine there's got to be a little bit something extra in it for what's basically an entire roster that's returned for Charlotte with the exception of a few rookies.
I can tell you what, Tyler, no mistake about it. They're out for gold and they're out for glory. They want vengeance, they smell blood in the water, and they're going to go after it. And I think with Charlotte, when you're a player on a squad and you go down like that, I don't care if every single player on the opposing squad is gone. It's the club. You're going after that. You want to go after the win because that's going to sit in your mind and your memory, and you don't want your career to continuously go down that path. Imagine 2 years in a row if they were able to walk out of here with a loss. It's not what you want to run into, so you want to get going quick. And you know, you see Rochester on the forefront right now pushing numbers forward, but Charlotte Independence definitely have it in the back of their mind, and they're going to use that as motivation here this evening.
Wall fall on top of the free kick for Rochester. And the head referee is going to have to sort out some extracurricular activity that's going on right outside of the penalty area. Or maybe have a conversation with the assistant referee. Looks like Bilal Duckett and Joseph Farrell were involved in a little bit of a shoving match.
Probably just deciding as to whether or not he agrees with the color schemes for the jersey choice this evening.
Do you agree with them?
Absolutely, 100%.
Now Caleb Calvert getting a talking to as well. Ryan Felix extending an olive branch, and Calvert may be claiming that Felix was stomping on him, and I guess we're going to resume play now. Wall fall on top of the free kick. Second leading scorer on this Rochester side, 9 goals during the regular season. Here's Wall Fall, just going to clip it in. Fall trying to follow it up, and it's another foul against Charlotte, this time a bit closer to frame.
Yeah, impressive from Fall. On the second ball, coming back in. Great second effort on his part. You know, Charlotte clears the ball, Fall just steps up right into it, and Enzo having a conversation with our referee. And what am I supposed to do there with the momentum? But smart play by Fall. You're going to see him step into the space, and I think Martinez just clips him on the side. Have another conversation with a different referee might give you a different opinion, but here this evening, that's what we're going to have to deal with. And watch Fall when he steps over these balls. Last time we saw him serve it in, he's extremely dangerous. He's got excellent vision on these, so don't be surprised if he has a crack at it early.
Our head referee for today, Bardil Pashaj. Already had to make a couple of 50-50 calls, if you will, although I do think there was certainly some contact. And Fall over the free kick once again, and Ryan Felix once again causing some problems with the Charlotte defense, who's trying to get organized.
The referee telling to wait for the whistle.
Wall fall once more. He does go for a goal, but it's right into the wall. Good sliding challenge there from Dover, or was it? It's actually going to be a yellow card for Jordan Dover, committing his first foul of the game and immediately being shown mustard here in the 12th minute.
Our referee getting it going early. Neither of the Martinez brothers afraid of any confrontation here, verbal or physical. And again, Enzo, such a hard worker all over the field, stepping back into space.
Now, this is obviously a very emotional matchup for both teams. Straight up rematch from a year ago. And if you're the referee, you want to be sure that you're in control for the full 90 minutes. And I guess setting the tone early is Jordan Dover, and fair play from the referee. You have to go into the book there.
Yeah, and as long as he stays consistent, I have no problem with it. The last thing you want to see him is him with his calls kind of being all over the board, not really following through on things. And he's just showing right there, listen, man, if you're going to go in hard and you're going to go in studs up, I'm not going to reward you for the efforts. You're going to go into the book.
Groff bringing it down, leading scorer for Rochester during the regular season with 10 goals. And Bob Lilly made a point to say, as Charlotte commits another foul, that none of those goals came from set pieces, whether it be a free kick or a penalty kick, which just goes to show the prowess that Groff has during the run of play.
He's a hard worker, Iron Man for sure. You know, he likes to be isolated, but he is a good combination player. But he's another one. He'll stretch that back line. He'll drift into the spaces, let balls come into him, let players play off of him, and he plays that role very well. And that's a big thing about a system player like that. Maybe he's not always going to wow you in every single goal that he scores, but he is unstoppable in a lot of situations because of that big frame, and he can hold off defenders and give his teammates the ability to run off of him and create opportunities for them going forward.
Fall trying to bring it down. And it's going to be a handball going the other way. You mentioned a system player, and Bob Lilly certainly has a fine system going. And more so even further than that, Rochester Rhinos in general, 21st playoff appearance in 22 years of existence. I mean, you talk about steady form and steady success over the course of over 2 decades. Mighty impressive from the side from Western New York.
Well, Bob Lillian, 4-time USL Coach of the Year in 14 seasons, so that's pretty impressive. And coming down, like you said, Tyler, he likes to get things done his way. He doesn't seem like a confrontational person, but he'll let you know if he doesn't like what you're doing. And if you're not doing it his way and you're not willing to, he'll find someone else that will. And he's got guys that buy into this day in, day out, and they come in, they put in the hard work at training. They get great results on the pitch, and it's a nice little brotherhood he's created here and that he's done over a long period of time, whether he's been here or not, because even when he hasn't been at the helm, they seem to follow the same suit.
Lilly was the coach from 2009 and 2011, took a little break and then took over again in 2014, and they've certainly had a ton of success, winning a USL championship in 2015 with the likes of Steven Dos Santos as well as Christian Valesky, as well as Tony Walls, as Mizell will be able to claim that.
And that's exactly what I was talking about, Tyler. You see Charlotte turn the ball over, and Fall has great vision that we talked about. He just tried to slide that ball in behind the back line, and Charlotte needs to be careful because as they continue to push numbers forward, when they get the disconnect from the outside backs coming forward, that creates more space for the center backs, and the boys in the middle, Duckett and Kalungi, have to make sure that they've got proper spacing because you don't want to give up those through balls like we just saw there.
Go the other way once again for Rochester. Just about 15 minutes in here from the Capelli Sports Stadium. Tyler Terrens along with Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us on a bit of a brisk evening in Western New York. Straight up rematch from a year ago. Charlotte looking to avoid elimination by the hands of the Rochester Rhinos for a second straight year. The Rhinos feeling like they have some unfinished business. They had that game in hand against the New York Red Bulls 2 a year ago at Red Bull Arena. While Fall had the goal in extra time, but it wouldn't prove to be enough. And defensively, this is certainly a team that has the pieces to move forward. And while they did score more goals last year, Bob Lilly made a point to say that he feels that this team is a little bit more explosive going forward.
Yeah, I would probably agree with him. I mean, look on the offensive side of things. When you see them go forward, they're very direct. They have intent. I think last year, like you said, even though they put more in the back of the net, I didn't really see as much ingenuity. And I think this year you see that creativity, and they have much more fun, I think this squad does.
Herrera providing the pressure, and it's going to be offside on Herrera. We mentioned the 36-year-old Colombian before. He's playing in a little bit of a different role tonight. He's usually the number 9 looking to link up with Enzo and Alex, and now he's providing the width.
We talked about Calvert stepping into that role, but you know, Mike Jeffries just going back to the drawing board a little bit, trying to get creative at the end of the season here, and some of that might be a little frustration because they haven't been able to put the ball away. But like you said, Herrera, a veteran nonetheless, and he has no problem playing the role, whatever it may be on this squad.
Well, Duckett giving chase and sensing that Canardo Forbes was hot on his heels. He's going to have to clear it away, and now a throw in for Rochester deep in Charlotte territory. Certainly a game that's been fought in the middle third of the park for the opening 17 minutes or so.
I think that's what we're going to see all night long, most likely.
Just helped on by Fault. June Marquez Davidson was there. Alex Martinez just trying to get out of trouble. Nice little touch there from Enzo, and now here's Calvert trying to hold up play. But Rochester just swarming the ball. Unable to keep possession, though, and be a throw in for Charlotte.
And you can see both squads having some interesting conversations, to say the least. Very frustrated with each other's efforts. You can see a little bit of a domino effect, ball bouncing around here and there, not very crisp or clean. And you brought up the battle in the middle of the park. I said, you know, we're going to see that a lot, but you'd like to see them settle down a little bit and maintain possession, get some better touches on the ball.
Rochester can't connect the dots in the final third. Enzo Martinez having some troubles of his own. Charlotte look a little out of sorts trying to get out of their own defensive third. Rochester looking to take advantage. Comes out wide for the Canadian Jordan Dover. Cristiano Francois, the Haitian, trying to play it through for Graf. And that's excellent defending from Henry Kalungi.
And that's exactly what you want to see out of your center back right there. Great run by Graf coming over into space. Excellent vision by Rochester as they move the ball from the middle to the right side and then back through. And you're going to see Francois just slide this right in behind the back line, and well done by Kalungi to step over and just shield the ball as it goes out, earn his team a goal kick. That's excellent defending.
Kalungi certainly the most experienced back along this Charlotte line. Spent a number of years with Richmond, won a USL championship with the Kickers. And Lee Calishaw now trying his hand at the Sportsplex at Matthews and with the Charlotte Independent side. Joel Johnson. Good little ball in for Calvert. Can't get the touch right for Herrera.
And that's something you're going to want to keep an eye on. Even when we talked about Herrera being a professional and a veteran, you could see the communication lacking a little bit there as Calvert tried to step in, play a little flick onto Herrera. Herrera not expecting it whatsoever. So boys just need to have a few words with each other, make sure they're reading the same book so when they continue forward, they don't run into situations like that again.
Good pressure from Enzo Martinez. Calvert couldn't get there. Now maybe a little bit of space opening up for Rochester. Cross being sent in towards the back post. James was hoping for it. That's Cristiano Francois. Yearwood with some work to do, just clears it out. And it'll be another deep throw in for Rochester.
Excellent work by Rochester down the left-hand side. Ryan James showing no reservations whatsoever about knocking a beautiful ball across. Again, like you said, wasn't able to get onto the end of it, but a good one nonetheless. In the early goings of this game, though choppy from both squads, I think the Rhinos have had a little bit better of run of it so far. As you can see them pushing the Independents in their final third right now.
Conardo Forbes clips it over the top. Fall trying to help it along, but it'll be offside. That's not a bad idea from Rochester. Why not send it up to your 6'4" German?
I'm jealous. I'd love to be standing out there running on that ball with him. But yeah, like you said, smart play by Fall, just stepping in behind, and he saw the space available. Unfortunately, just a little bit too advantageous and got in behind the back line, but impressive from Rochester. And you could see the run coming in from the backside as well. So they knew exactly what they were doing, just weren't able to execute fully.
Almost halfway through the first half. Is this what we can expect from these two sides, Devin?
I thought it was going to be a little bit cleaner, to be honest, but I think you're going to see a battle. Like I said, I thought the battle was going to be in the trenches, in the middle of the park, and that's what we've seen for the most part so far. No real opportunities going forward.
Over the top for Martinez, trying to bring it down. Farrell and Pratzner were there on the scene. Calvert providing pressure, and it will be a throw-in for Charlotte. And that's certainly one way to get out of trouble, is just to send it up Route 1.
Yeah, and up until a few minutes ago, I think that most of it was just right down the center of the field, and Rochester put Independents on their heels for a few moments, and now the Independents firing back with a jab of their own, trying to push Rochester on their backside. But again, you'd like to see things settle down just a little bit.
Martinez trying to squeeze his way through, sends it negatively, and Francois is there. Conardo Forbes, a couple of shimmies to lose the Independents midfielders, but they cough possession right back up. Alex Martinez finding his brother Enzo. Partial clearance from Pratzner. Here's Forbes. Wearing the captain's armband for Bob Lilly tonight, as is the case most nights. Kalungi might have gotten caught for a moment. Graf giving him more than he can handle. And now here's Francois trying to get on the right side of Yearwood. Good defending from Yearwood, however, they do concede the first corner of the match.
And that's the work ethic from the Ironman. We talked about Graf up top, just so difficult to deal with, throwing his body around. Able to punch the ball loose and credit to Austin Yearwood tracking back. Got his body cut up underneath him a little bit on that pitch, but good defending, tracking back. But again, much more impressive from Rochester going forward. That's what they're going to do. They're going to push numbers, and when they don't have the run of play, they won't stop working. They're going to push high and make you frustrated at the back to turn the ball over on your own. They like to create those mistakes.
Forbes in his 3rd season with the Rhinos, originally from Jamaica. There's the header from Farrell. It's going to fall for Francois. Didn't get it right. Popped up into the air. Francois wins the first header. Alex Martinez trying to clear it away. Calvert helping it along, but it falls for Felix. Here's Groff. Good play from Johnson to cut it out, but it's another throw-in for Rochester. And we talk about how different these two teams are in terms of their core, possession-based versus a little bit more defensive and counter-attacking. But when you get down to it, both of these teams certainly can press and press with a lot of numbers, and they have a lot of success doing it.
And Bob Lilly can say whatever he wants, but they definitely do like to do that. And, you know, speaking with Mike Jeffries in the middle of the week, he said they'd actually like to do it a little bit more. They've been working on that, where he thinks, though they haven't capitalized on their opportunities, they've been most dangerous when they went forward with pace. And you'll see that possession-style soccer played all the way around the field, but if they can turn that into a little bit more momentum and be a little bit more direct, kind of like a Phoenix when they turn around and go with numbers. Haven't been able to score, but thinks they could benefit a lot more from that style of play as opposed to what they've relied on in the past.
It's Cristiano Francois once again, laying it off for Dover. Back for the Haitian Francois. Dover looking for an option, just curling it in. Mizell off of his line, able to punch it away. Still with Rochester, Pratzner. And Francois can't keep it in. You were motioning that Mizell maybe should have caught that ball.
I just think it's a ridiculous decision from the 25-year-old. I don't understand why you come out. I mean, he was head above heels above everybody else. There's no reason whatsoever why, number one, you punch that ball, and number two, you punch the ball poorly right down the middle of the field to turn it right back over to Rochester. He should have caught it, let his team regain their composure, start over, start from the back moving forward. Instead, he just gives it right back to Rochester and puts his boys on the defensive again.
Groff. Canardo Forbes. The 1-2 with Wall fault. Trying to get it back for the German. It's going to fall for Dover. Directing traffic. Dover along for Francois. Bending it in. Kalungi's there with a defensive header. Enzo Martinez challenging. But Rochester doing a great job of pinning Charlotte back in their own defensive third.
And Fall a little frustrated with himself. You could see asking one of the other players to come and receive it. He didn't realize that the ball was going to pop out. I think if paid a little bit more attention, that thing dropped right in front of him. He could have had a crack at goal.
Ryan James. Wide for Lee. Raymond Lee, the 24-year-old from Kansas City, Missouri, lining up the throw-in. Good step from Felix. Wall fall, trying to keep it in play. A lot of contact there from Johnson.
I heard the whistle from the referee.
Wall fall certainly upset with the call. We'll take another look.
Yeah, I think most likely he's probably just pointing to a goal kick, and frustration for Fall for sure, as Joel Johnson just stepping in there and definitely give him a nice little clothesline. I think it's difficult from the referee's point of view, right on the edge of the box, whether or not you're actually going to give that foul, but it is the first time we've seen something a little bit more questionable. Consistent from our referee for the most part, though.
Dover. Him and Francois certainly putting some miles on the odometer on this near side. It's going to pop right back out for Dover. Francois trying to just plow it through the double team.
Francois lobbying for a handball, but I don't think that came off him whatsoever. But like you said, Tyler, he's definitely been putting in the work on the right-hand side, and very frustrating for Austin Yearwood so far. I think if things continue this way, he's going to owe Kalungi a few adult waters after the match. He's had his back quite a few times so far.
Groff just trying to hold it up, ends up doing a decent job, however, surrenders possession right to the foot of Alex Martinez. Now here's his brother Enzo, trying to hold off Canardo Forbes. Wall Fall comes away with it. A couple of neat step overs. Back for Fall, just out of his reach. Francois giving chase now. And Yearwood just clearing it away. And Rochester just continue to put the clamps down.
Let's see. Wallfall, we talk about his height and his vision and how dangerous he is on set pieces. What I didn't allude to is some of his technical ability and his change of pace, change of direction. You saw it right there, a nice little step over move and combination play played down into the corner. Was not able to get on the end of it at the end, but again, very impressive from Rochester going forward as they continue to try and break down that back line of the Charlotte Independents. Independents looking a little bit suspect so far. I'm sure Mike Jeffries is trying to motion to the troops to lock things up back there.
This is probably their best offensive passage of the game, and right on cue, they surrender possession away once again. Felix. Only as far as Callum Ross. Now here's June Marquez Davidson. Austin Yearwood. Charlotte native unable to get the service into the box. Davidson able to bring it down. Alex Martinez looking to go through for his older brother Enzo, but it is going to be offside. And if you're Charlotte and you know that you're surrendering the majority of possession, how crucial is it for you to keep the ball and keep the ball for extended periods of time when you do get it?
Yeah, 100%. You're working so hard on the defensive side of the ball. The last thing you want to do when you get it back is to turn it right back over to the Rhinos. But at the same time, Tyler, when you're going forward, we just saw it right there. Austin Yearwood, they worked so hard. They get up to the top of the pitch, and Yearwood, though he's 1v2 and has numbers, there's no reason for him to try and knock that ball into the box. Number one, he's already covered. Number two, no one's in there on the receiving end of it anyway. Pull it back, start over. You've got Martinez and Ross and Davidson sitting there laying in wait. Lay the ball off and start going to the other side of the pitch. So they need to be smart with their chances because they're not going to get a lot.
Tucker with a defensive header. Rochester will keep it. Raymond Lee cleans up his first touch. Lee into the box. There's the header, and it's just wide, and Cody Mizell is livid with his back line, allowing a free header for Wall Fall, usually translate into a goal.
You can see Mizell very frustrated indeed, and again, Rochester's just doing so well. Raymond Lee getting around the outside, knocks a good ball in. Fall trying to get to the near post and go to the near post with the diving header. And Cody Mizell just saying to Kalungi and Bilal Duckett, you guys got to get it together back here. We are too disorganized, and we are going to give something up. I mean, Charlotte's got to be extremely frustrated overall. And if you're Rhinos, I would just continue doing exactly what you're doing right now. You've got a nice run of play. The Independents have no answer whatsoever for those outside runs. And I talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast. I think it's a little bit frustrating for those outside backs because they want to get forward, but right when they get the opportunity to do so, they're put on the defensive schemes again, and they're not really sure how to react.
June Marquez Davidson on top of the ball now, 33-year-old originally from Japan. Moved to the States when he was just around a teenager. Missed a large chunk of the season, more so towards the end, with a nagging lower leg injury. And they got him back into the lineup just in the nick of time to try to get him match fit. As this will go back to Rochester.
We talked about the spacing and the backline of the Independents. Credit to the spacing for the Rochester Rhinos right there. It's a very accurate depiction of exactly how you would want a squad to press in the final third and push you down into the channels and into the corner. You can see every man spoken for.
And that throw-in's going to remain with Rochester as Alex Martinez couldn't keep it in play. And of course Enzo coming to his brother's defense as usual. And if you couldn't already tell from watching the Martinez brothers, Mike Jeffries made a point to say that They are inseparable on and off the field. Both of them actually coach at the club that they grew up playing for in the South Carolina area. They grew up in nearby Rock Hill, South Carolina, right on the border of Charlotte, coaching for Discovery Soccer Club. Here's a long-range effort from Dover, or rather Francois. Mizell able to collect.
When referencing the Martinez brothers, obviously Enzo a little bit more successful, if you will, guy much more individual accolades, you know, end up going to a bigger school, obviously a great storied career over UNC Chapel Hill, and won a national championship at the youth level, the high school level, obviously phenomenal with UNC, and just the two of them share so much passion for the game, and it is contagious. But the one thing they have to be careful of is those two guys are able to control the passion, positive or negative. They know what they're capable of, and sometimes when you start to get frustrated and those attitudes and emotions start to boil over, you don't want your teammates to become involved in that as well. So just need to make sure they keep that in check. Try and keep these boys moving in a positive direction. Because as we can see in the opening 35 minutes, not a lot positive going on for Charlotte.
And their passion has certainly gotten in the way of Charlotte's success early on in the season. Here's Johan Graf. Graf is away. But there's a great challenge from Alex Martinez. Groff is barking to the AR and the head referee that he got clipped from behind. But it's going to come. It's either a goal kick or a corner kick. Still waiting for the signal.
Yeah, very frustrating for Groff. And you're going to see here, he wasn't sure as to whether or not Fall was going to be able to make that run and slide the ball over to the left. Decides to go on his own. Maybe a little bit of a friendly little nudge. A love tap, if you will, by the Martinez brother, but I don't think, and he wants him to open his eyes, I don't think you can call a PK in that situation.
Groff, 27 years old, originally from Double Oak, Texas. Started at Southern Methodist University and then transferred to Bradley. Born in Sweden, then moved to Texas. Sent in, and it will be a corner for Rochester. And this corner brought to you by U of R Sports Medicine.
It's the first time we've heard Francois' name in a few minutes. Very active in the opening moments, but again, trying to get back into play here as you're going to see Conrado Forbes. We talked about how dangerous he was on the set pieces, so there's such a good ball in.
Will be an outswinger from Forbes. Jorge Herrera with the defensive header. Raymond Lee, nice little touch. Long for Dover. Dover back out wide for Forbes. The ball bent in, but Cody Mizell is there on the scene.
And well done, good goalkeeping by Cody Mizell. And as the ball came in, you could see much better spacing and marking in a zonal fashion by the Charlotte Independents. Groff trying to crash the party, coming from the back post, unable to do so. But again, if you're Charlotte, just bide your time. Take baby steps to get back into this match. Again, as frustrating as it's been in this first half and haven't really had anything going forward, it's still 0-0 in the 37th minute.
The offside on Groff as he was pressuring the ball, starting from an offside position. Charlotte looking to play quickly, and there's a rare miscue from June Marquez Davidson, who's usually Mr. Reliable in terms of his technical ability.
And unfortunately for the Independents, we haven't had the opportunity to call Ross or Davidson's name here this evening. And Enzo Martinez just playing a little bit higher, a disconnect in the center of the park for those guys. And again, consistency and communication only going to benefit the Independents. Need to get back on track.
Dover once more. Fakes out Yearwood initially. Up along by James. Now Forbes lining it up. Oh, it's not a bad effort. And Mizell thankful to see that go a little bit wide.
Just as you think the game becomes a little bit stagnant and you get lulled to sleep, Conrado Forbes trying to change it in one fell swoop, having a go of his own for about 35 out. See the ball just bouncing around a little bit, and Ryan James heading it through, and Forbes says, hey, why not? I've hit these before, I can do it again. To be fair, that steps in about a foot. I think he's got Cody Mizell beat. Cody Mizell might have a different argument to say about that, but
step from Pratzner. And the winner of this matchup will get the treat of traveling to Slugger Field. Take on Luke City, Luke Spencer, and James O'Connor. Louisville City with a dominant performance against Bethlehem last night.
Well, they look good. They look scary good.
Can't say the same for the other 1 seed.
Yeah, I mean, Louisville came out, made a statement, hey, we're the best in the Eastern Conference. This is why. They beat Bethlehem down in every single way that they should. They maintain possession. They look great in every fashion. And like you said, I'm not sure the Monarchs ever got off the bus last night. They looked terrible. Just could not get things going whatsoever, and things went from bad to worse real quick once we headed in. 2 penalties. Just a poor showing all around, and very frustrating for that squad to go home this early and in that fashion.
Well, Sacramento Republic flipping the script, as they were the ones who were taken down as the 1 seed a year ago by Orange County. And now this year, as the 8 seed, go to Rio Tinto and come away with a magnificent result. And it'll be the winner of Phoenix and Swope who will host the conference semifinal over in the Western Conference. But still plenty of business to sort out here at the Capelli Sports Stadium. Callum Ross somehow able to wiggle himself out of trouble. Now sending it along for Herrera. Gomez well off of his line. Clears it away, but that's good movement from Charlotte.
See Raymond Lee backtracking there, just getting in front of Herrera and frustrating him. Herrera doesn't have the wheels that he used to. It's not real difficult from Lee to trek back, and get Ryan Felix sliding over as well.
Poor touch there from Johnson. Rochester looking to break out. Enzo Martinez after the turnover. Alex Martinez. He's clipping it into space, encouraging Joel Johnson to get forward. And it is going to be a foul coming the other way. And it just seems like Charlotte is a little out of sorts. Simple passes that should be played to the correct foot or played in a positive motion seem to be doing completely the opposite.
You're right, Tyler. In a situation like that, I actually don't mind that ball in from Martinez down into the corner. But like you said, just Johnson not expecting it whatsoever. And frustrations, emotions, whatever it may be, Johnson taking it out there, and they're going to start going the other direction. But like you said, just not really getting anything going. Even just before that, ball coming side to side. Alex Martinez ball coming out. Austin Yearwood, him weren't sure who that was going to. So it forces them to start over, come back, and they lose the run of play. I'm sure Mike Jeffries is going to have a few words at halftime with his boys about getting themselves back on track, because they can't continue on like this.
Well, albeit the dominant performance from Rochester, we still remain at 0-0. While fault met by Bilal Duckett, he'll go all the way back for Mizell, and he'll just have to clear it away. Cristiano Francois looking to turn around Austin Yearwood. The Haitian is on the move yet again. Great ball in towards the back post, a little bit over wall fault. Now here's Forbes picking it up. Forbes, great move to the byline, sends it across, and it almost snuck through.
Oh, Canardo Forbes trying to sneak one in there. How smart was Cody Mizell on that? We talked about his technical capability right now, and you're going to see Canardo Forbes whoop, right around Joel Johnson. Gets crafty, goes to the near post. I thought maybe he was going to cut it back across, but got very, very sneaky, and excellent save by Cody Mizell.
Heard Chris Berman's a big Rochester fan.
I'm going to have a word with you after this game. You and I are going to have some serious words, my friend.
And another turnover in the defensive third of Rochester for Charlotte.
And this is what I don't understand. You've got Caleb Calvert standing 5 yards from the ball coming back into play, and nobody else from Charlotte stepping up into that space to help and support. Are you going to play high and press, or are you going to sit back? You need to make a decision.
Francois around Kalungi, but the service denied by Yearwood. Kalungi just with his palms up in the air looking for an option. Ends up surrendering possession to Raymond Lee. And the flag is up on the near side. Herrera trying to slide it through for Enzo Martinez. Poor touch from Felix. But look at that challenge from Joseph Farrell. Ball almost stayed in play after hitting the corner flag. It'll end up being a goal kick, but it's the type of defense that's going to earn you 14 clean sheets.
We've given the Rhinos so much credit going forward so far tonight. Again, haven't been able to put anything in the back of the net, but doing well. Frustrating Charlotte. The Independents not feeling so independent here so far. But again, the mainstay of this squad has been their defense and their capabilities.
Jordan Dover getting forward from that wingback position once more. And again, it's Cristiano Francois and Austin Yearwood. That's been the matchup. Francois' ball over everybody, and Joel Johnson just going to concede a corner. But that's going to do it for the first half. We were just told that there was going to be no stoppage time. We barely even reached the 45-minute mark. The crowd not happy that the corner didn't ensue. But that's going to do it for the first 45 minutes here in Western New York. 0-0 between the same two sides who met a year ago in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Devin Curry, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much what we thought it was going to be. You know, a battle in the middle of the field and jousting, if you will, back and forth. Much more impressive from the Rhinos going forward. Not so much from the Independents. You'd like to see someone break the deadlock and get on the board in the early moments of the second half. I think it'd make it much more interesting, but nonetheless, both squads content at a 0-0 at half.
Couple of goose eggs here at the Capelli Sports Stadium. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the halftime show.
When I sprained my left knee, they did so much to help me at
Lattimore Physical Therapy. With 20 locations throughout Monroe and Livingston County, pain relief is never more than minutes away. Same-day appointments available. Most insurance accepted. Call 1-888-PT-ROCHS. Lattimore Physical Therapy.
You'll find it online at RalphHonda.com. We know you're busy. That's why we make buying a car easy. Shop our entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on the go, at your desk, or wherever you are. Click on the new generation at Ralph Honda.
Multiple concussions actually put people at risk for early dementia. It's kind of like Alzheimer's with a kind of paranoid, angry edge to it. So we've been trying to develop a blood test for concussion so we can say yes or no. You had a concussion, yes or no. Hopefully, early diagnosis equals early treatment and prevention of dementia down the line.
Wherever you are, you'll find it online at RalphHonda.com. Want to know the monthly payment? Use our finance calculator and get pre-approved credit too. Have a trade-in? We'll tell you the value before you even come in. It's all online at RalphHonda.com.
When I grow up, I'm gonna redefine pizza. One that will change the history of pizza forever. A pizza with the most cheese and the most pepperoni. This is my dream, and I can do it. Because my mom and dad said I can accomplish anything. And I will do great things in life.
Sorry, kid, it's been done.
But my dream...
Introducing Little Caesar's Extra Most Bestest Pizza. A large pizza with the most cheese and the most pepperoni for just $6.
Pizza, pizza.
Halftime here at the Capelli Sports Stadium in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals in the 4-5 matchup, an exact rematch from a year ago, as Rochester and Charlotte right now all knotted up at 0-0. And the Rhino having a little dance by himself in the middle of the park here in Western New York. And we'll take a look around the league in terms of the scoreboards. And right now, this is the only game that's currently going on. But take a look at some of these matchups. San Antonio, Tulsa should be a good one. Obviously, Tampa Bay and FC Cincinnati should be a fantastic atmosphere at Al Lang. But something that jumps out at me, Devin, you can disagree or agree, but Swope and Phoenix, I mean, the implications of that match have just become even greater with the winner being able to host the second round.
Yeah, we'll start with this. I'll go Battery, Rowdies, OKC, Phoenix, San Antonio. That's the quick version. The elongated version is I 100% agree with you. Real interesting to see who's going to win that game. And then obviously, Sacramento's going to have to go on the road again. Either one of those squads, two very different teams, obviously very capable of moving on. Interestingly enough, speaking with Mike Jeffries, asking who he thought his favorite was, he picked Swope Park Rangers. You and I were a little bit mystified by that, excuse me. But yeah, an interesting matchup nonetheless. I'd really like to watch the Reno-OKC game because I think OKC is hot right now. Obviously, Reno got Dane Kelly winning the Golden Boot Award, and then you can't sleep on the veteran leadership and experience of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And FC Cincinnati has cooled off in the latter portion of the second half of the season, but excellent season to start off and a great U.S. Open Cup run. And my personal favorite, the Charleston Battery moving forward. If I had to put money on them, that would be them. I don't have any money, so I'm not going to bet.
So Devin Kerr, moneyless, as we are still scoreless here at the half at the Capelli Sports Stadium. Fans certainly enjoying a scoreless, albeit an exciting first half. Hopefully some goals to come in the second half. 0-0 here in the Eastern Conference quarters in Western New York.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
Why do you not get me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
The end of the USL regular season also saw the end to the statistical awards race and the announcement of the winners for Golden Boot and Golden Glove, along with assist champion. Expansion franchise Reno 1868 FC had an inaugural season for the record books, becoming the league's top-scoring offense and snagging 2 awards along the way. Dane Kelly became the USL all-time leading goal scorer during the regular season, adding a single-season-high 18 goals to his career tally while claiming the first USL Golden Boot of his career. His USL regular season goal total reached 66 as he was the first USL player to surpass 50 goals since the league's inception in 2011. In a stellar rookie campaign, Chris Whean had a hand in the offensive success of Reno 1868 FC, connecting with Kelly to create 4 goals for Reno over the course of the season. In total, Whean notched 12 assists, tying the USL single-season record as he earned the title of assist champion. The regular season also saw Rochester Rhinos goalkeeper Tomas Gomez snag his 2nd consecutive Golden Glove award. In 22 appearances, Gomez posted 11 shutouts with a .73 goals against average. His award continued the trend for the club as Rochester earned their 4th Golden Glove in 4 seasons. With playoffs finally here, the awards for MVP, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, Defender of the Year, Goalkeeper of the Year, along with the 2017 USL All-League team will be announced in November. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Back here in Western New York for the Eastern Conference quarterfinal. Straight rematch from a year ago, Rochester and Charlotte, 0-0 at the half. Couple of chances for either side, but really not much to write home about here as we are moving right through the halftime show. Tyler Terrens along with former German pro Devin Kerr. And Devin, while it may not be exactly what the fans at home hoped for, probably what we could have expected from these two teams.
Yeah, for the most part, a dogfight down in the middle of the park, and very, very frustrating for the Charlotte Independents. Not really able to do anything moving forward, but credit to the Rhinos. I said it was going to be one in the middle of the field, and they've done it so far. Got another 45 minutes, so both squads got a little bit of work to do. Not really sure how they're going to be going forward, but let's take a look at the first half highlights.
Absolutely, and here are the best moments from the first 45 minutes. And right off the bat, it was a couple of chances early for Charlotte.
Charlotte came right out of the gate, and they were doing quite well. And we actually kind of thought maybe they would get things going. Enzo Martinez, excellent little turn, jumps to the near post and tries to beat Tomas Gomez. I thought he was going to go far post. Very crafty. That's why he's out there, and I'm in here. Very smart from Enzo Martinez in the early going of the game.
Absolutely, and then as we would progress through the first half, this right side between Dober and Francois got a lot of work in.
They were picking them apart for sure, and not really sure what Austin Yearwood and Kalungi would do without each other, and very fortunate they weren't able to give anything up. And again, you see Kalungi stepping in with Groff right there. Very smart, but the Rhinos continue to maintain possession, continue to push numbers forward.
Absolutely, and the left side, of course, for Rochester would get involved as well. You see Raymond Lee here just sort of trying to bust his way through, and then a free header for Wall Fall. Charlotte's got to get that sorted out.
Yeah, again, good combination play. Raymond Lee down in the corner, serves an excellent ball across the Wall Fall, and that's a difficult ball. You're coming to the near post, trying to dive, flick it on, and I think Cody Mizell had it covered, but good effort nonetheless.
And then Rochester would create a ton of turnovers, and then Johan Groff, he would ask for a foul here, but at the end, that's good work from Alex Martinez and Henry Kalungi.
Yeah, again, a disconnect from the backline of Charlotte Independence, and a great job by Alex Martinez working back. Groff's not going to get the penalty in that situation, but shows you he's a hard worker. Thought maybe he was going to play the ball across the fall, decided to go on his own, unable to put it in the back of the net.
Groff has yet to get really a clean look. 10 goals on the season, leading scorer for Rochester during the regular season. And now the stats from the first 45 minutes. And Devin, the possession number certainly doesn't shock us, but what should for Charlotte is no shots on target.
No shots on target and only one shot in general, which was in the first 5 minutes of the game. So again, very frustrating from the Independents. Speaking to Mike Jeffries midweek, he said, in order for us to be successful, we need to go forward. We need to have intent and pace. They have done none of that whatsoever. In the middle of the field, we have not called Caleb Ross's name, June Marquez Davidson, or Enzo Martinez in succession, not one single time this evening. So the middle of the field really struggling to deal with the Rhinos. Now on the other side of the ball, the Rhinos doing an excellent job, haven't been able to put anything in the back of the net, but I think for the most part, they've stuck to their game plan. They're doing what they do best, and they've been rewarded for it, just haven't put anything in the back of the net.
Well, this time last year, Charlotte was down 2-0 at the half. Right now, they're in a better spot, 0-0 at the half, but they certainly need to tighten things up on the defensive and offensive side if they're going to move on to the conference semifinals. Still 0-0 between Rochester and Charlotte. We'll be back in a few moments.
You'll find it online at RalphHonda.com. We know you're busy. That's why we make buying a car easy. Shop our entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on the go, at your desk, or wherever you are. Click on the new generation at Ralph Honda.
There's another reason I'm here.
We're gonna add one last station.
Everybody wants a piece of you. So don't lose it. Take your time. Work hard. Don't give up. And when your moment comes, breathe through and focus.
When I grow up, I'm gonna redefine pizza. One that will change the history of pizza forever. A pizza with the most cheese and the most pepperoni. This is my dream, and I can do it. Because my mom and dad said I can accomplish anything. And I will do great things in life.
Sorry, kid, it's been done.
But my dream...
Introducing Little Caesar's Extra Most Bestest Pizza. A large pizza with the most cheese and the most pepperoni for just $6.
Pizza.
Wherever you are, you'll find it online at robhonda.com. Want to know the monthly payment? Use our finance calculator and get pre-approved credit too. Have a trade-in? We'll tell you the value before you even come in. It's all online at robhonda.com.
Still scoreless here at Capelli Sports Stadium in beautiful Western New York between Rochester and the Charlotte Independents in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals 4-5 matchup. Rochester dominating possession as well as the run of play. Charlotte unable to really get things going. And we'll take a look at some of the news and notes from around the USL. Tomas Gomez, who's currently featured in this matchup, back-to-back Golden Glove awards. He actually had a .69 goals against average. So a little bit worse this year, but still able to get the same award. 11 shutouts on the season, 14 for Rochester on the whole. But probably the biggest thing standing out here, and no knock against Dane Kelly, who won the Golden Boot. Sacramento taking down Real Monarchs, the USL regular season champions, in penalty kicks. And to be completely honest, Devin, it looked like they might have even won that game in the run of play in regulation.
Yeah, I think Real got very lucky again. They just didn't look crisp all night long. They're very frustrated and lackadaisical going forward, coming back. Just no communication, no organization, and just frustrating all in general. But again, as you mentioned, Sacramento Republic giving out a little bit of taste of their own medicine that they had to deal with last year, coming out with intent and say, you know what, we don't care that we're the 8th seed. We know what we're capable of, and they went out and they proved it, and awesome job.
Now with the Monarchs eliminated from the tournament, does this by and far make Louisville the favorite to go ahead and win it all? Is there somebody that you like?
I told you, coming out of the Eastern Conference, I'm a big fan of Charleston. I like the Battery. I like the way that they play. I've had the fortune of calling them a few times this year, and I'm impressed with their efforts. I think, obviously, the mainstay in the pick for everybody else will be Louisville, and they'll have to get through them eventually. Now the biggest thing is I'm not necessarily saying that Real was the favorite. I think a lot of people thought they were a very good squad, and they deserved what happened, but now who's it going to be? Is it going to be a Phoenix, who's literally been rising up through the ranks overall, and Drogba and company are definitely coming to play each and every week. They've got a nice streak going on. We talked about OKC and the high-powered offense of Reno, so I'm not really sure what's coming out of the West. Again, I think maybe Louisville or the Battery. If I had to pick, it'd be the Battery, but again, we talked about me not being a betting man, so don't put me in charge of your hedge fund.
Duly noted. Well, Charleston and New York Red Bulls, too, they should be kicking off right about now, if not already having kicked off. But we have some business to settle here at Capelli Sports Stadium. 0-0, probably what we could have expected between two very polarizing teams. Charlotte like to keep the ball, although they haven't seen much of it yet tonight. Rochester on the other side have been more defensive throughout the course of the season, and that's what most Bob Lilly teams are known for. However, they've been on the front foot, and they've been the one taking it to Charlotte. If we're the Charlotte Independents, because we already talked about how Rochester really could just keep doing the same thing and hope that one finds the back of the net, what specifically does Charlotte need to fix heading into the second half?
You need to find out what your identity is going to be. They haven't really proven to us what they're trying to do, nor have they done anything of what they've done all season long. You know, all season long, we saw them maintain a decent amount of possession. Haven't done that tonight. Now, credit to the Rhinos, but the Independents have had the opportunity to go forward. When they get the ball, there's no vision whatsoever. There's no communication. So when they're going forward, we talked about intent, they don't have any. Jeffrey's talked to us about going forward faster. They haven't done that. So they're lacking the creativity, they're lacking the vision, they're lacking pace. They're pretty much lacking everything. But again, that being all said, as atrocious in my opinion of a first half as that was for the Charlotte Independents, it's still 0-0. So we can give all the credit in the world to the Rhinos and bash on the Independents all we want, but it's still a 0-0 game with 45 minutes left. So hopefully they regrouped a little bit at halftime. Again, a very talented and capable squad. Just get back to doing what you do best. Maintain possession or go forward with pace, but you got to pick one, and whatever you're going to do it well.
Well, Mike Jeffries and his side are looking for the first win in the history of the Charlotte Independents. They were formerly known as the Charlotte Eagles, and they certainly have a number of playoff wins under their belt. But in terms of the new name, the Charlotte Independents, they're still in search of their first postseason win. And Mike Jeffries over there on the touchline, still very confident in his team's abilities. And obviously with the 5-game losing streak ending the regular season, you might find that as a surprise, but Mike Jeffries always has a cool head about him. And even when we were discussing the U.S. men's national team and all of their shortcomings, he still had a cool head about him and was very confident in the future of soccer in this country. That just goes to show how calm, cool, and collected this guy really is, with all of the sort of rants and whatnot that a number of sports personalities have gone on over the past few weeks with that ensuing. But 45 minutes to sort out here in Western New York. Tyler Terrence along with former German pro Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us. 45 minutes remain, and if not, we could head to extra time and penalties. It would be the second penalty kick shootout that we've seen in the past 24 hours.
And just as many days, and you got to wonder, with all the firepower and prowess we've seen going forward from these squads, we have yet to do so for the most part in the playoffs so far. Again, Louisville storming right out of the gates, dropping 4 on Bethlehem, and we talked about how impressive they looked, but from the rest of the squads, nothing much so far. The Rhinos, decent run of play and went forward pretty well, but just lacking that final finesse in the final third of play. So I'd like to see a little bit better from both squads in the second half.
Well, Joel Johnson getting forward with a couple of great moves and drawing the foul. Is part of that success for Charlotte going to come in terms of getting your outside backs involved?
Yeah, 100%. And we talked about their ability to get up the pitch, and with Yearwood and Johnson, we didn't see that at all in the first half. We saw the frustration on the back line, and as they tried to move out and the backs were coming out, though not involved in the play, they were creating space in a negative manner, which allowed the Rhinos to get in behind that back line. And you saw the through ball to Groff and Fall having his way, if you will. But I think you need to definitely get Joel Johnson, one of my personal picks for Defender of the Year going forward. I think he's a great two-way player and just non-existent for the most part in the first half.
Joel Johnson as well as Joseph Farrell, potential candidates for the Defensive Player of the Year in the United Soccer League. Sebastian Ibiaga on San Antonio, certainly a candidate. Forrest Lasso from Charleston, of course, naming the top 3 teams in terms of clean sheets in the 2017 regular season. Small fall. Can't get through Enzo Martinez, and Bardo Pashaj claiming that there was some contact and a free kick the other way for Rochester.
And again, Pashaj just establishing his ground in the early moments of the second half, saying, we're going to keep it right where we left off in the first half, boys. Let's keep it clean and able for everybody.
Ball sent the other way. Cody Mizell will be able to hang on to that. And really with all the possession and all of the opportunities that Rochester had, Cody really hasn't had to make any big saves yet.
No, we saw the diving header from Wallfall to the near post, and then the creativity from Canardo Forbes. Had that one-on-one play. Got very sneaky to the near post, and then he had that strike from about 35 out. But yeah, like you said, all the shots and the run of play that the Rhinos did have going forward. Mizell, not too much for him to be flustered about.
Great ball along for Herrera. Sees Gomez off of his line. Oh, it was a great effort. The veteran out of Bogota, Colombia, for a brief moment saw the 2-time back-to-back Golden Glove winner off of his line for a split second and was almost able to make good on it.
And that's exactly what you wanted to see in the first half from the Independents, but not able to do so whatsoever. Good play in from Martinez, and Herrera just running onto it. Like you said, Gomez cut off his line a little bit off the flick and the ball through. Herrera having a nice little try. And that's the other thing, is that regardless of what the run of play is, you need to keep a goalkeeper honest. So even if you can't put it in front, have a show. Have a go. What's going to happen? Worst case scenario, you put it a little bit wide, but again, good effort from the Independents so far.
Starting to open up a little bit here at Capelli Sports Stadium. Chance on one end, and now Rochester pressing on the other. Canardo Forbes, 1v1 with Joel Johnson, the Spaniard. Good defensive posture there from Johnson. Raymond Lee. James running onto it, leaves it for Fall, using that big frame to hold off Alex Martinez. And Johnson will see that out of bounds.
Called his name a few times here. The start of the second, and Joel Johnson active both offensively and defensively for his squad.
Join the Rhinos on the field following the match for the most
Mizell, 25 years old, from Woodstock, Georgia, on loan from the Colorado Rapids, second season with the Charlotte Independents. Spent some time playing in Iceland before coming back to the States. You can see they're 6th in the USL in saves this season. Charlotte, not exactly known for their ability to keep clean sheets, but Cody Mizell has kept them in almost every single game.
He's a phenomenal goalkeeper. He's at save of the week, player of the week, save of the month. And he's done it a few times. And like you said, don't sleep on him. Very capable back there between the pipes.
Charlotte with one of their brief spells of possession of this game so far. Bilal Duckett, former Irishman, just clipping it over the top, hoping for Joel Johnson. And last touch is going to be off of Charlotte, the assistant referee, pointing to the 6, and it'll be a goal kick for the Rhinos.
And you saw the, like you said, Tyler, brief spell of possession. And initially I was wondering why he was just knocking the ball into the corner there. I didn't think Johnson was going to be able to get onto the end of it, but decent little effort. Just need to maintain possession and continue to be smart with their ball when they get it at their feet.
James along for Francois. The Haitian was very active in the first half, first touch of the second half here. Ross with a partial clearance at that. Bernardo Forbes has to track back.
Speaking of tracking back, really impressed a second ago as June Marquez Davidson slowly drifted back into the middle, and you see him closest to the play, but credit to the boys on the left side of the pitch. You saw Austin Yearwood and Alex Martinez nonetheless just pushing all the way back to make sure the Rhinos weren't able to counter. It's good defending.
Nice little 1-2 between James and Forbes. Herrera nipping at Forbes' heels. And it's going to be a foul against Herrera. And it will be a free kick for Rochester. Herrera claiming that he got the ball. Bordel Passage not exactly agreeing.
I think Passage has to blow the whistle there, but from the angle that we have, he was kind of obstructed a little bit because of the bodies in front of him, and smart by Bernardo Forbes to just have a nice little momentum changer and duck over.
Here's a free header for Graf, and there it is for Rochester. Johan Graf, the leading goal scorer for the Rhinos in the regular season, continues his goal-scoring prowess into the postseason. 1-0 for the home side.
Well, rejoice in jubilation, boys. You deserve it. Well done by the Rhinos. Just ball down in the corner, quick restart. See an excellent ball played in by Raymond Lee, and we talked about Graf and how good he was in the air at the start of this broadcast. Ball played to the back post. Graf just fending off every defender in the middle of the box. Gets up, nice little knock to the back himself. And the Rhinos come out a little flat in the second half, but able to jump out to a 1-0 lead.
Johan Graf, 11th goal of the season, his first of the postseason. Rochester more than deserved the goal. They have dominated the run of play, dominated possession, and dominated the shots category. And now finally getting rewarded for their efforts. It was just a quick, simple restart from the free kick. Raymond Lee with a great ball in, and if you're Charlotte, you have to wonder how Johan Graf is ending up with a free header.
Well, I mean, we talked about their spacing issues in the first half. It continues over into the second half, and you hope it doesn't spiral out of control, but that's exactly what happened in that situation. Again, Jorge Herrera frustrated with the blow by the whistle, but I'll tell you what, referee knew exactly what he was doing. Bernardo Forbes, very smart, gets a little nudge in the back, goes down to the ground, and the Rhinos play quickly, and we talked about intent and vision. They had great intent and vision on that play. Quick little ball, Raymond Lee in, Graf on the end of it, and they take advantage of the mistake by the Independents here in the early moments of the second half.
Rochester looking to maybe make it 2. Francois again, he's been working on Yearwood all night. Another great ball in, Forbes is waiting for it. Johnson nodding it away, but Charlotte starting to wither a little bit after giving up that first goal.
Well, and again, what is the back line doing? I mean, it's not like it's against the run of play. You're sitting there, and the Rhinos have possession. As you're going to see Canardo Forbes try and play quick again, possibly. But they've got all the time in the world. There's plenty of spacing, and they just don't do anything with it.
And the corner kick brought to you by U of R Sports Medicine. Alex Martinez being issued a yellow card as well. Will be an in-swinger from the Jamaican Forbes towards the back post. Great defensive header from Duckett. Johnson looking to spark the counterattack. Ends up getting bottled up by a number of green jerseys. Into the box once more. Kalungi is there, straight up in the air. Mizell off of his line, fumbles it. Nervy moments for Charlotte here.
Yeah, but how cool was that touch by Alex Martinez in space, just knocking it down, trying to maintain possession for his squad. But again, another ball played to the back post, terrible marking by the Independents. Smart by Johnson coming out of the back, but when you're going forward, he had Calvert in the middle of the field, play the ball across, continue your run down the line, get it back. He doesn't do so, tries to go 1v3, turns it over, and again, the Rhinos go forward.
Now Charlotte providing pressure. Enzo Martinez asking for a call, not going to get one as him as Felix were jousting, and now Wallfall taken down, and there will be a foul the other way. And we'll take another look at that mishandle from Cody Mizell.
Yeah, just very emotional at this point in time. I think both squads want to settle their boys down a little bit. You see Cody Mizell coming out. We talked about his questionable punch in the first half and not able to maintain possession there in the second half.
Rochester on the move again. Dover laying it off for James towards the back post. Johnson is there yet again, but Rochester smell blood in the water. They're looking to double their delight.
And for sure, Canardo Forbes just laying weight on the back post. Thought that ball was going to drop to him. Smart defending nonetheless by Joel Johnson. Just a smart little head over his shoulder, knock it out. Some of you kids at home are wondering, hey, he just gave up a corner, but you know what? Better to knock that ball out of play and let his team reset than to let it drop on the beautiful and impressive foot of Canardo Forbes, as we've seen it in action here a few times this evening.
And of course, this corner kick brought to you by U of R Sports Medicine. Forbes on the corner yet again. Mizell off of his line, and this time handles it cleanly. Mizell a little upset that Rochester Rhino impeded him on his way to try to punt the ball the other direction.
Cody Mizell trying to go quick and get a little counterattack going. Nice little half volley, but needs to watch his footing as well. Coming out of the box like that, you don't want to turn the ball over and give the other team a set piece, give them an unwanted opportunity.
And Mark Pulisic, Bob Lilly's main assistant coach, telling some of the Rhinos on the bench to start getting warm, as we'll probably see some substitutions from either manager in the coming moments. Mark Pulisic, of course, the father of U.S. Men's International Christian Pulisic and Borussia Dortmund star. Him and Bob Lilly attended and played at George Mason University together back in the mid-'80s. Jorge Herrera. And he's going to get called for the foul. And of course, the winner of this match will advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals, and a date with James O'Connor's Louisville City at Slugger Field, October 28th, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Louisville, of course, coming off of a very convincing performance against the Bethlehem Steel last night. 4-0 victory, and Tarek Murad, of all people, getting a brace. He was actually the last member of the Louisville roster to score this season. He did it in the last couple of games in the regular season, and then, of course, go ahead and gets a brace in the first game of the postseason, as Calvert committing a bit of a frustration foul there.
And Murad just unfortunately missed a PK, followed up, able to slot it away in the last game of the season. As you mentioned, became the final field player to score, as we're going to see Calvert step in here, and haven't been able to call his name much. We asked Mike Jeffries, was he going to be able to go a full 90? And he said, you know, I don't really know if he has the fitness to do so. And to be fair, with the performance that we've seen from him so far, wouldn't be surprised if Jeffrey goes to his bench in the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Francois, early delivery, great ball in. Forbes, was he taken down? The answer is no. It was a teasing ball in from the Haitian Cristiano Francois, and Forbes was just about a half step off of it.
Francois has served in some excellent service here this evening, and well, Johnson needs to be real careful in those situations. Bernardo Forbes closing in once again on that backside. It's been an authoritative side of the Johnson here in this match. As you can see, frustrations and emotions starting to run wild for both teams.
Ross stripped in a very dangerous area. Forbes trying to play a little wall pass with none other than Wallfall. Back out for Lee. He already has an assist. It's in for Francois. And it's a handball on the Haitian. And a yellow card as well.
I think our head referee, Bardil Pachas, just saw intent in that situation. And
the yellow card caution has been issued.
As Francois ran through the middle, again, great ball, bending in towards the penalty spot. And looked like he might have tried to take it off his chest. I didn't think he stuck his arm out. I mean, I definitely know it hit his arm, but I didn't think he did it with intent. But referee thought differently.
And now Jaime Siage coming in.
Coming off the field, number 10, Jorge Herrera.
And Jorge Herrera, the veteran out of Bogota, Colombia, quite possibly coming off the field for the last time in the 2017 season. Jaime Siage has been a great addition to the Charlotte Independent side, coming off the bench as well as starting. Here's Johan Graf looking for number 2. Couldn't quite get his footing right. That'll be a goal kick for Cody Mizell, and you see that sense of urgency starting to develop for Charlotte, down 1-0. Single round elimination format. You have to throw everything forward.
Got 28 minutes left for sure. And we talked about when that sub was going to happen. Obviously, he still feels confidence with Caleb Calvert up top and wants to keep him as a role in this squad. But Siage had a nice little 1-2 punch with Calvert a few weeks ago in the Louisville game. I mean, played a ball about 40 yards on a rope. Calvert took it down off his chest, and just a nice volley in the upper 90 back corner. Unfortunately, they were on the losing side of that match. Went down 2-1, but Siage very impressive in the middle of the field, and I'll be curious to see what they do tactically bringing him on. Who's going to shift where?
Foul against Rochester. Be a Charlotte free kick as they're starting to send numbers forward. A little more than an hour played here at Capelli Sports Stadium. Tyler Terrens along with former German pro Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us. Rochester broke through by way of Johan Graf. 11th goal of the season, first of the postseason. And that is the difference between these two sides, who are meeting for a second year in a row in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals 4-5 matchup.
I mean, to be fair, Tyler, through all this, you've asked me my opinion quite a few times. I'm quite curious where your thought process is with the playoffs going forward. Who's the smart money on for you, my friend?
Well, like you, I'm also moneyless. But if I were to put down a few shekels on anybody, I would probably say Phoenix, not just because of all the horses that they have in the barn, but because of their form as of late, right? I mean, they're the hottest team heading into the playoffs, regardless of which conference you're in. And for me, and for my USL bracket, that's who I have standing alone come USL Cup time.
And what's the expression with Bulls? You know, ride them until they buck you.
Rochester on the move yet again. Wallfall going to put the brakes on. And a big sweeping ball over for Jordan Dover. Switching the point of attack. Ryan James. Good step from Henry Kalungi. Being nipped at by Johan Graf. Kalungi just sending it the other way, but virtually to nobody.
Yeah, again, it's just unnecessary, and the Independents continue to do the same thing in the second that they did in the first, where they're working and working and working, and when they do recover the ball, they're giving it away unnecessarily, and it's been a recipe for disaster for them all night long.
And while it's no knock on Tomas Gomez's shot-stopping ability, you're starting to get a full understanding as to why the Rochester Rhinos have had the last 4 Golden Glove winners on their side. Their defense and their midfield do such a good job of clogging things up that their keepers don't see any shots.
Yeah, it's kind of a skewed stat, if you will. And again, Tomas Gomez, an incredibly capable goalkeeper, make no mistake about it, but when you're only seeing 1, 2, 3 shots a game, it's easy to throw your name in the mix.
Through for Graf, but Mizell off of his line. Well, we've talked about Charlotte's struggles to score as of late, just 2 goals in their last 5 matches, now scoreless in their last 270 minutes of play. Their last goal coming, Devin, like you mentioned, that great goal from Calvert against Louisville on October 7th. And for a team that has one of the highest chance conversion rates in the United Soccer League, I mean, it just speaks to the fickle nature of this sport as they haven't been able to put it together towards this last stretch of the season, now into the postseason. Dover trying to get around Alex Martinez, but stood up.
And what's interesting about that as well, Tyler, is that in all of those performances in this scoreless drought, they haven't looked that bad. Now, I don't think they look good tonight, and I credit to the Rhinos again that they are executing their game plan to a T so far. They've done everything right and nothing wrong for the most part, but the Independents coming down that stretch, number one of the toughest closing schedules in the USL, versus very difficult teams on the road, home and away. Playing well, though, maintaining possession, having opportunities. I think you and I did a game where they had over 20 chances with 10 or 12 shots on goal. And like you said, conversion rate, whether or not they were able to put the ball in the back of the net, they still had a decent outing and performance. You can't say the same here for this evening.
Well, Bob Lodley, certainly a veteran coach in the United Soccer League in his 7th season with the Rochester Rhinos. And he has come with a game plan against the Charlotte Independence side, and the 11 that he sent out there up until this point have executed that game plan to a T. And they are well on their way to a conference semifinal berth. However, still only a 1-goal lead, so it's just one moment of ingenuity or one moment of luck for the Charlotte Independents to get them back in it.
And I'm going to steal your wording and verbiage here for a second, Tyler. You said this fickle sport, because that's exactly what it is. The Rhinos maintaining most of the possession, having the better run of play, creating the most offensive opportunities and chances. An absolutely tremendous goal on the restart, and yet still it's only 1-0.
Here's Siage trying to break away. Back heel for Enzo Martinez. Martinez, and he tucks it away. Just like that, Charlotte are level. Martinez with his first goal since September 2nd. It's 1-1 here in Western New York.
Well, 270 no more. Fiction can be fun, my friends. We talked about the word fickle and them not living up to the task or the hype. Well, they've done it now. Charlotte Independents breaking down the back line, the stingy back line of the Rhinos. Jaime Siage, wow. Great assist on the last goal, and what a clever little back heel to Enzo Martinez. Trying to return to midseason form, and just like that, we're knotted up at 1.
Martinez with his 17th goal this season, and what a play from Jaime Siage. And we were just talking about the fickle nature of this sport. Just like that, with their first shot on target, Charlotte find the back of the net.
Well, Jaime Siage, man on fire. 2 great assists in the closing games of this season, and I'm sure Mike Jeffries is going to start wondering why he hasn't used him a little bit more or sooner in this match. Nonetheless, sparring partners are going to get back at it here. 20 minutes to go, folks. Strap yourselves in.
Here's Forbes. Looking for some help. Sends it out wide for Dover. Back for Fall. The return for Dover, what a play, and it's broken up by Kalungi. We're starting to see some magnificent football down the stretch.
Very crafty from Wall-Fall. I was hoping that thing was going to drop. I was so impressed by the play.
And look at Yearwood get forward. The ball in, waiting for it was Siage, but a good defensive header there from Felix.
And I'll tell you what, if I'm Mike Jeffries, I'm going to be happy with my squad and that they've got the tying goal, but you do not want this to turn into a track meet. I think that's definitely going to benefit the Rhinos. Defensively, they're much more organized over the course of the season, and especially here this evening. So, though you've notched it up, just maintain composure and emotion.
Here's Martinez in space again.
I'll get it.
A little bit of a heat check there.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
And we'll take another look at that opportunity created by Dover and Fall. Just look at this cheeky little lift over the top from Fall.
I mean, that is just so difficult to do. Player coming in, just his first touch, super impressive, and then just to scoop something about 6 yards over the back. He's been crafty all night long, and his services were rendered there for sure.
What a turn of events here at the Capelli Sports Stadium. Rochester, who were seemingly in control, and we were just starting to talk about how dominant of a performance it was. And on cue, the substitute, Jaime Siage, with quite literally eyes in the back of his head, finding Enzo Martinez. As Henry Kalungi goes down now, maybe a little bit of a cramp or the like.
And again, it's this playoff atmosphere. We talked about the emotion that come into play, and obviously the Charlotte Independents and their back line have been so active all night long. I think he might have picked up a little bit of a knock just through the run of play, but you're going to see it more and more here in the closing moments. As we take another look at it, and ball just coming through, and Kalungi trying to tell Mizell to come and get it. And you can see maybe just knee just pops a little bit there at the end. I didn't see any contact whatsoever in the replay. You fear the worst in situations like that.
Kalungi, native of Uganda, 29 years old, third season with the Charlotte Independents. We mentioned before his long stint with Lee Kalishaw and the Richmond Kickers, who missed out on the playoffs for the first time in more than 15 years. Kalungi won the USL Cup in 2009 with the Kickers, reached a final in 2010. Two-time semifinalist, as well as 15 appearances with the Uganda national team. Very important to the Charlotte back line. They do have a couple of options off the bench, and I would have to imagine if he can't go, it would be Luke Wechter, the rookie out of University of North Carolina of Charlotte, that would step up in his stead. As Kalungi being helped off the field now, but very strange injury that Kalungi just took, and he's having some trouble getting off the field under his own power.
And you got to wonder what exactly happened to him in that situation. Again, it kind of maybe a little pop or a tweak. You never really know when you don't see anything or any contact like that, and you don't want to assume because we're not in his body, we're not down there on the field. Not really sure what's going on, but you see him, as you said, Tyler, gingerly walking off with the physio, and there's your answer right there. Ashani Fairclough going to step in for the Henry Kalungi.
It is going to be Fairclough stepping in. Fairclough has seen limited minutes here for this side throughout the entire 2017 slate. And now it's Fairclough stepping into a mighty big role here with just about 17 minutes remaining in regulation before we head to extra time.
And watch for the Rhinos to recognize that. He's going to step into the middle of the park, and as the Rhinos push forward, see if they go after him, kind of like a quarterback going after, a quarterback going after a cornerback that just steps into play, and he wants to isolate him, and he's not fresh, he's not up to speed of play. So we're going to want to keep an eye on that.
Charlotte on the move. Joel Johnson looking for early delivery. Not a bad ball in. Pratzner is there first. Wall-Fall using his big frame to his advantage. Through for Johnson, but that's going to run out of play. Little on Ashani Fairclough. 25 years of age, from Portmore, Jamaica. Attended University of South Florida from 2009 to 2012. And in his first season with the Charlotte Independents, Groff trying to just bully his way through. Him and Enzo Martinez are goal scorers for the evening. Alex Martinez just trying to slot it through for Caleb Calvert. Devin, you don't seem impressed.
No, I mean, I saw the look, but just terrible effort. So Calvert, we talked about him trying to stretch the back line, and Calvert trying to pull those guys towards the field, and Martinez needs to bring that to his right, or if he's going to knock that ball, put it in the air, put it into space for him to run onto it. Not really sure where he was playing that ball.
A little bit of a hospital ball there from Enzo Martinez. Groff ends up cleaning it up. Here's James. Cut out by Siage. The orchestrator of the Enzo Martinez equalizer. Third assist on the season for Jaime Siage. Cristiano Francois trying to go through for Groff in a foot race with the substitute Fairclough.
And what you just saw from Groff right there was exactly what the Independents have been lacking tonight with that high press from Calvert. Any balls that have been played into him, hasn't had any support, someone running off, or he's turned it back over. Groff, on the other hand, you see him going down into space, maintaining possession, holding the ball up for his teammates to come and support, and then moving back in the middle field to start over. And that's exactly what you want to see as your high point forward up top.
Be a goal kick for Cody Mizell. Tyler Terrens along with former German pro Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us here. Brisk evening in Western New York. And it was a brisk attack from Charlotte that saw them equalize just a few moments ago. Enzo Martinez with the equalizer. Johan Groff got things started. And level at 1 between these two teams, where there's certainly no love lost. Straight rematch from a year ago, very emotional matchup. 3 players were sent off. Metcalf, Enzo Martinez, and Drew Marquez Davidson, all players on the Charlotte Independents last year. They finished with 8 men, and their season was ended by another stingy Bob Lilly side. And while not much has changed heading into this quarterfinal, the way that this game has unfolded has. As there will be a foul against Caleb Calvert. No booking here, as Groff milking it a little bit.
Well, and interestingly enough, on the refereeing side of things, you brought up that emotional and physical game that they had last year, and credit to Bardale Passage in the middle of the field. I think he's done a very good job, maintained a good, solid presence, and called a nice, clean game, and that's great for a player, because you don't want a referee to disrupt the flow of the game. He's done very well tonight.
Well, he had a couple of big decisions to make early on. It was very physical. First few challenges were very hard. He did book Jordan Dover right away, and that sort of set the tone. Enzo Martinez after the turnover. Running with a couple of players in front of him. Still Martinez. Just tried to send it out wide. Not sure he saw the green jerseys out on the left side. And it looks like Rochester is getting ready to make their first substitution of the evening. And especially with a game that, for all intents and purposes, looks like it's headed into extra time, how important do the substitutes become?
Oh, you're definitely thinking about it for sure. And, 11 minutes and change to go in this match. If I make a sub, tactically, is it going to affect us? If so, what other pieces am I going to have to move? What will I still have in the tank if I decide to go to my bench? And God forbid we go past extra time and into penalties, who would the guys in my lineup be? So those are all things that are coming into play. So it's not just, hey, this person's lacking a little bit of energy. You got to think about every single variable that's going to come at you just by one little substitution.
Charlotte have already made 2 of their subs so far, them being Siage and Fairclough. Fairclough, due to an injury more than anything, Henry Kalungi had to come off with what looked like a lower leg injury. And now it looks like we are going to have a substitute come on here.
Entering the game, number 25, Sergio Campbell.
And it's going to be Sergio Campbell coming on for Bob Lilly, and Ryan Felix will come off. Interesting move from Bob Lilly to take off possibly one of the best center backs in the United Soccer League.
You got to wonder if he might have picked up a little knock or it's just nothing left in the tank. And Sergio Campbell, another great player that can step in and fill that role for sure, but Bob Lilly not willing to concede the possession battle, which starts from his back line moving forward. They've done such a great job all night long, and Charlotte have gained a little bit of momentum here in the closing part of this second half, and Lilly's going to try and regain some of that form, get a late goal. Worst case scenario, have fresh legs going into overtime.
Campbell, a native of Jamaica. First season with the Rhinos. Spent some time with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Dave Brandt in 2016. Alex Martinez finding Enzo Martinez. Trying to slide it through for Callum Ross. Still Enzo, working on a number of green jerseys. Alex trying to get to the outside. Pratzner was able to get there. Charlotte looking a bit more comfortable in the attacking third after the Martinez goal. Collective sigh of relief for Charlotte Independence fans just in terms of putting one in the back of the net. Free kick coming the other way for the Rhinos.
I'm sure every fan at Capelli Sports Stadium on their edge of their seat right now. Bob Lilly and co. on the ropes a little bit here, trying to jab back, but haven't been really successful. The Independents moving things around. Mike Jeffries and his squad making the right substitutions to get things going. All the momentum in the Independents' corner as we speak.
Which certainly wasn't the case heading into this match with a 5-game losing streak to their name. And on the other side for Rochester, they had their longest winning streak of the season with 3. And just 2 goals in 5 games for Charlotte up until that Enzo Martinez breakthrough. Francois just trying to send it in, takes a nasty deflection, ends up falling for Pratzner. He'll whip it in. Joel Johnson waiting for it, actually lets it bounce. That's usually a cardinal sin of defending. Groff looking to split a couple defenders, able to beat Johnson, back out for Forbes. Forbes working on Johnson. Long range effort, ended up being more of a cross than anything. And that's going to be a foul on Alex Martinez. And it'll come out the other way for Charlotte. And it looks like it's going to be a yellow card as well. And it's going to go on the center back, Joseph Farrell, and that makes things interesting as well. Center back on a yellow card for the remainder of regulation and headed into extra time. We'll take another look.
We saw Joe Farrell had that initial effort and just tried to have a go from outer space. Continuing in for the second ball and just throwing his momentum forward. Probably a little bit of frustration here in the closing moments of the game. And like you said, Tyler, got to be real careful now and mindful on the Independent side. Jordan Dover on a yellow card, Joe Farrell on a yellow card. So 2 very integral pieces of that defensive line that are exposed a little bit here.
This is usually where Rochester are capped off in terms of their goal scoring output. Just 8 games with more than 1 goal this entire season. Can't quite say the same for Charlotte, although their recent form would indicate that they maybe not have another goal in them. But it's just a new season once we enter the playoffs. Rochester claiming that there was a foul committed. And it is going to be a yellow card issued to, it looked like, June Marquez Davidson.
Quite the delayed effort from our referee as well, as Kennardo Ford pleaded his case, and referee had no problem standing trial over the situation.
And it is June Marquez Davidson who goes into Bardel Pashage's book.
Hard to tell from that angle, but foul nonetheless.
Raymond Lee on top of the free kick. Francois just truck sticks over Alex Martinez. And it'll be a throw in from Rochester. That's bullish work from the Haitian.
He's definitely been silenced a little bit here in the second half. Trying to get a nice little spark for his squad, but see the Rhinos have been quieted off a little bit here.
Bob Lilly said that Cristiano Francois was something that side has been missing for a number of years, was just an out-and-out winger who looks to take on players 1v1, break them down with individual skill, and then either go for goal themselves or set up a teammate with delivery. Hasn't been the case tonight. Austin Yearwood has done a good job of shutting him down for the most part. Another ball sent in, and Mizell is there. Wallfall was looking for it.
I think Fall just saw the ball coming in and didn't want to expend any more energy than he had to. Saw Mizell was going to beat him to it, just decided to back off of the play.
Little cat and mouse between Cody Mizell and Wallfall. And it looks like it's going to be a free kick, quite possibly an indirect free kick the other way. My goodness, what a decision from Bardel Pashage. And you can see how angry Cody Mizell is. Wallfall was standing in his way. Cody Mizell was waiting for him to move out of the way. And I guess because Mizell held on to the ball for so long, it was a 6-second call. And it's an indirect free kick.
I am mystified that the referee has the guts to blow a call and make a decision like that this late in the game. As you can see there, a little bit of cat and mouse. Posturing from Wallfall and Cody Mizell. And I mean, if he's calling clock on Cody Mizell there, I think it's absolutely absurd. And now you got to wonder, with the indirect free kick, is it going to be a little touch and just let Fall have a hit? Is it going to be a touch, stop, go? You would think the ball is going to be put on Fall's right foot.
These are always so difficult to pull off and execute, even when we've seen indirect free kicks inside of the 6 that haven't found the back of the net because of the nature of the indirect free kick. Somebody has to touch it first before it can go into the back of the net. And now the 4th official having a conversation with Bardel Pashage.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tyler, it's frustrating for defenders in this situation, but our referee having a few words.
And now it looks like the assistant coach for the Charlotte Independents is being asked to vacate the premises.
Yep,
and indeed, that is the case.
Showing him the exit for sure. And going back to my initial comment, this is one of those situations where, as frustrated as you are, you got to maintain your composure and get the troops back in order. And if you're the Rhinos, this is something you hope you've practiced on the park a few times before, and you've got something in your back pocket laying in wait to line something up here. Get a little bit crafty. Just outside of your screen, don't be surprised if this ball comes to the top of the box and does not go to Wallfall, so you can get a good crack at goal. You're only going to get one.
It is Fall, goes out wide, but it's completely mishit by James. What a set piece routine that they had up their sleeves. It's just the execution which was whiskers off.
Oh, I told you it was going to be something super cute, and it was. And unfortunately, Ryan James just, what an absolutely amazing effort by the boys on the ball to get that in. The ball played by Fall I mean, he sold it. It was phenomenal. James was in alone and just, like you said, Tyler, could not convert as it just trickled off his foot to Cody Mizell.
Probably the last thing that anybody was expecting was for Fall to give that up. And now the question remains, was that something that they've worked on before or just sort of flying by the seat of their pants?
No, make no mistake about it. They've worked on that before. Every squad does that. It's just whether or not you have the composure and the confidence to pull it off. Sometimes you're going to go even 2 and 3 deep on those, and you see it. The two names that you would expect to be on top of the ball are Canardo Forbes and Wall Fall. Excellent distributors of the ball, excellent ball strikers, but Ryan James just left out in la-la land, no one marking him whatsoever, and just he's got to do better in that situation.
We're going to have 5 minutes of stoppage time. I have to imagine at least 2 or 3 of those accounted for the ejection of the Charlotte assistant coach. Now, do you fault Wall Fall a little bit for the distribution? Was it coming in a little bit too hot for James?
No, not whatsoever. I mean, you've got the right angle on goal, and whether you want to hit that with your instep of your right foot, go with laces, or let it come across your body, you're set up to do whatever you want. You got to execute.
Martinez trying to fight his way through. Campbell clears it away, but a deep throw in for Charlotte. And now a good opportunity for the Independents to perhaps steal one here in stoppage time and escape Capelli Sports Stadium with a win and head to the conference semifinals for a date with Louisville. Enzo Martinez on top of the corner now. You see the corner graphic. Rochester certainly dominating that category. They've dominated almost every category tonight, with the exception of the one that matters most. Martinez doesn't get past Farrell. Alex Martinez directing traffic, just looking to play with his brother in some tight spaces here. Alex with a great little fake. Last touch is going to be off at Dover, and it'll be another corner for the Independents.
You can see the big boys from the back line coming up. Fairclough standing at 6'2". Bilal Duckett, another tall frame at 6'2" as well. Don't forget Yearwood, 6 foot. And Caleb Calvert as well.
Sent in by Yearwood. Plenty of bodies collide. Gomez was the instigator, and it's going to be a goal kick. And we do have a player down for Charlotte, and it looks like it's Caleb Calvert.
I think Caleb Calvert just everybody crashing in on the box and took a knock.
And now medical attention being waved on by Bardel Pashaj.
Calvert really feeling it here, pointing to his right side. Yeah, just so many big bodies and the height and weight being thrown around in there. Obviously you got Tomas Gomez coming out of the box as well, trying to punch it and push the ball the other way.
And Calvert being worked on by the medical staff from the Charlotte Independents. As we mentioned before, Calvert, just 20 years of age, from Wrightwood, California. Third stint with the Charlotte Independents in the past 3 years. And certainly walking off the field gingerly. And now we'll have to wait to see if Mike Jeffries is going to make his third and final substitution to replace Caleb Calvert, as we are surely headed into extra time now, barring a last-minute game winner from either side.
He's shocked we haven't seen Jeffries move him before, as you see Dennis Castillo stepping over asking if he's okay and trying to get it going, running off. Wonder if it's a little bit of posturing to move the clock along as gingerly as he is running.
Well, the crowd here at Capelli Sports Stadium certainly letting Caleb Calvert know how they feel. Francois trying to get out of trouble. And last touch off of the Haitian, and it'll be a throw-in as Francois and Yearwood exchange some kind words as they've been going at it for 90-plus minutes.
It's crazy to think in the 95th minute of this game, Cristiano Francois having enough in his tank to get down to that ball. I mean, he's still got his wheels. Impressive from that youngster.
Calvert just thumping it the other way, giving some problems to the Rochester back line, but look at Joseph Farrell with the composure and then wins the free kick.
Well, and I think what you're seeing there is the referee just blowing the whistle from a continuation of Siage's first challenge, where he got in a little bit early, got his arm wrapped around him, and then he backed off. And when the Rhino player went to ground, referee just had to blow the whistle.
Groff trying to bring it down, falls to fault. Now goes out wide for Francois. Denied by Yearwood. However, it will be a corner kick for the Rhinos with just a few moments remaining in regulation. And this corner kick brought to you by U of R Sports Medicine.
And you have to imagine the Rhinos don't have as much height, but this ball's got to be put somewhere near wall fall. They want him to get on the end of it.
Forbes with the outswinger. It was Fall who was there initially, and then cleared away by Joel Johnson. And that's going to do it for regulation. 90 minutes, not enough to separate these two sides for the second year as they match up in the 5-4 Eastern Conference quarterfinals. It was 3-1 to Rochester at the end of 90 minutes last year. It's 1-1 this time around. Enzo Martinez with the equalizer. Johan Groff got things started. Devin, your thoughts on the first 90 minutes?
Like an old school heavyweight title fight for sure. I think the Rhinos came out hot, pushed hard and high, got their goal. The Independents coming back with a couple uppercuts of their own, and then a nice solid chess match coming down the stretch, and 1-1 at the end of regulation, I think, is a pretty accurate depiction of where both of these squads have been, and credit to the fight in both of these teams moving into extra time.
Rochester and Charlotte heading to extra time. Don't go anywhere.
Wherever you are, you'll find it online at robhonda.com. Want to know the monthly payment? Use our finance calculator and get pre-approved credit too. Have a trade-in? We'll tell you the value before you even come in. It's all online at robhonda.com.
There's another reason I'm here.
We're gonna add one last station.
You'll find it online at robhonda.com. We know you're busy. That's why we make buying a car easy. Shop our entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on the go, at your desk, or wherever you are. Click on the new generation at Ralph Honda.
"90 minutes in the books here at Capelli Sports Stadium, as it was not enough to separate the 4 and 5 seed of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Rochester and Charlotte headed to extra time. That man, Enzo Martinez, was the hero for Charlotte in regulation, as he was able to get the equalizer in the 69th minute by way of a spectacular feed from Jaime Siage. Tyler Terrens, along with former German pro Devin Kerr. And Devin, what a fantastic 90 minutes. Rochester was on the front foot. It looked like they had it in the bag. And then all of a sudden, it was Enzo Martinez with a great finish and an even better pass from Jaime Siage.
Whew. You guys take a breath? Let's catch up with each other. Yeah, I mean, very impressive from the Rhinos in the first half. Came out, knew exactly what they were doing, executed to a T. And they saw them come out early, and what an absolutely fantastic goal moving in. Again, ball played quick on the restart off the foul of Canardo Forbes. Goes outside to Lee. Outswinging ball to Groff, and just executes to a T to the back post to put his squad up 1-0.
Groff was able to put that away in the 53rd minute, and then 16 minutes later, Jaime Siage, the substitute, eyes in the back of his head, and then Enzo Martinez, first goal since September 2nd, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
And we had just put up the stat, 270 minutes without a goal, and Siage was involved in the last one. Decides, hey, you know what? I might have started that stat. I'm going to finish it right here. Watch this clever little back heel. And great job by Enzo Martinez to break the deadlock and bring it back to 1-1.
And then this was one of the more peculiar sequences you'll ever see. Cody Mizell trying to get a punt off while Fall using all 6'4" of his frame to block him. And then it's Cody Mizell who gets called for the infraction, I guess for holding on to the ball for too long. And then it's an indirect free kick, and then what ensued was almost a moment of absolute brilliance.
Well, again, I was absolutely bewildered by the referee and his decision to give that ball away. And leading into that, I said, watch for the creativity of something coming out. They did it. Ryan James is going to be very frustrated with himself, could not execute, and knotted it one. Going into overtime, both of these squads looking to progress into the next round of the Eastern Conference playoffs.
And the winner of this match will get the pleasure of taking on the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, Louisville City, as James O'Connor's side was able to take down Bethlehem with a very convincing 4-0 win last night. Still some business to settle here at Capelli Sports Stadium. Just moments away from the start of extra time here in Western New York. Devin, what are you looking for? And particularly, what are we looking for from the substitutes who recently came on?
Protein shake. No, I mean, this has been second half really opened up. It's been end-to-end stuff. And like you said, I think they made tactical changes just to get in fresh legs. We haven't really seen much difference from the squads going forward or backtracking. I think the independents have been much more calculated in their efforts, which they needed to be. Mike Jeffries brought that up to us, and I think they've just done better going forward. A little bit better defending, but I also think that once the Rhinos knew they had the 1-0 lead, 25 minutes to go, they were willing and content to sit back and just try and play their possession style, only taking their chances if they were gifted to them, which many weren't.
2:15 of extra time to be had, and if we can't have a winner in those 30 minutes, we head to dreaded penalties. We've already had one penalty shootout in the USL playoffs this season so far, and it was Sacramento Republic coming away with the PK shootout win over the #1 overall seed, the Real Monarchs, last night in a game where it started snowing in Rio Tinto. Tyler Terrens along with former German pro Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us, and if you're just joining us, you certainly tuned in at an opportune time. Francois looking for the early delivery. Cody Mizell just going to see that out of play. And for Charlotte, they haven't necessarily played great throughout these 90 minutes. They've had a couple moments of brilliance. They've pressed when they needed to. They've taken care of business. Is this as much as you can ask for them up until this point?
I think if they continue their performance from the second half, I would give you a stout yes. I think the first half was extremely disappointing, and again, hard venue to come in and play, hard team to take on defensively, and I just think they didn't execute in the first half, much better in the second half. They're going to look to funnel that into the extra time periods.
And for Rochester, was there anything that sort of fell apart in the second half for them, or was it just one moment of brilliance from Jaime Siage and Enzo Martinez?
I think that's exactly what it was. Again, I think it was better from the independents, especially from their shaping perspective. You know, they did a good job at locking down the back line. They didn't really give the Rhinos a lot, but I said the Rhinos kind of stopped pressing as much, so credit to the brilliance of Siage, the super sub, and Enzo Martinez be able to close out a goal and knot the game up at 1, but it's going to need something special to do it again.
And here's a quick look at how we got here. Goals by Graf and Enzo Martinez. And you see the stat there, just one total shot on target for Charlotte. But in this sport, sometimes all you need.
Yeah, you talked about conversion rate. I'll take 100% any day of the week.
Fall goes down. Referee not interested. Charlotte looking to take advantage of numbers the other way. Fall trying to get to his feet. Enzo Martinez with some neat footwork to hang on to the ball. Taken down. Referee says play on, at least for the moment. Enzo somehow gets it to Lewis Hilton, who's fresh onto the scene. Hilton going for goal. And that's never going to trouble Gomez. And we did have a substitution at the break. Lewis Hilton from Yorkshire, England, coming on and replacing Caleb Calvert. So the 3 substitutes for Mike Jeffries have all been used up.
And I think what you're going to see out of that tactically from the Independents is Hilton's going to float between the middle and left side. Siage going to tuck back in a little bit more, and Martinez pushing up a little bit higher. He's going to isolate himself a little bit, but he's got a nice supporting cast, as you can see there, to play off of each other.
Martinez kept it in play, ended up giving it right to Dover, and then Alex Martinez, to add insult to injury, commits the foul, and a free kick coming for Rochester. Far cry from the matchup a year ago in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Rochester ran away with a 3-1, albeit very emotional victory. 3 players from Charlotte sent off. They do have all 11 for the moment. And they're in a much better position in extra time by way of a great equalizer from Enzo Martinez in the 69th minute, as it will be a throw-in for the Independents. And if you were to take your guess right now, Devin, penalties or no penalties?
You put me on the spot, huh?
I did. It's your
No,
job.
I think we're going to get a winner for sure. It was interesting. You said far cry from the matchup that we saw a year ago. I'll take it a step further. I think it's a far cry from the matchup we saw in the first half. You know, the first 45 minutes, totally different than what we got in the second half of the match. And again, I hope that emotion and creativity that we saw from both squads carries over into the extra time period. And that's why I think we're going to get a goal.
Shawnee Fairclough in for the injured Henry Kalungi. So it's Fairclough, Duckett, Yearwood, and Johnson along the back line for Mike Jeffries. And then on the other side for Bob Lilly, Ryan Felix was taken off. Sergio Campbell was put on. So it's Prattner, Farrell, and Campbell. 3 backs for Bob Lilly.
Remember, you got Raymond Lee and Jordan Dover. Dover sitting on that yellow card as well, so.
Charlotte with some numbers the other way. Ill-advised pass there from Alex Martinez ends up working out. Charlotte still in possession. June Marquez Davidson. Great interplay here from Charlotte. However, Hilton can't get it right as Enzo Martinez giving chase in the corner. Joel Johnson gets the return from Callum Ross. Now just trying to bend it in. Siage was looking for it, but Gomez off of his line. And he's able to collect.
And interesting what they're doing with Siage as well. Since Lewis Hilton has come on in the extra time period, you've kind of seen Martinez and Siage kind of interchange a little bit in that point man up top. Martinez to start off, Siage coming back as well. So Mike Jeffries kind of moving his pieces as they move along in this match, trying to frustrate and mystify the back line of the Rochester Rhinos.
Charlotte Independents looking to exact revenge on a team that ended their season a year ago and looking for their first postseason win as the Charlotte Independents. Credit to June Marquez Davidson, who's just playing his first 90 minutes after coming off of a long injury that kept him out for a little over a month and a half. Did play 90 minutes against Charleston. And Mike Jeffries was very surprised that he was able to go that long, and sort of happened accidentally. But he's done a great job, as always, of pulling the strings in the middle of the park, cutting out passing lanes, and just being a nuisance, as well as a catalyst on the offensive side of the ball for Mike Jeffries. We're getting word now that Julian Boucher is getting ready to come on. Rochester on the move. Cristiano Francois looking to get around Austin Yearwood, but that is stout 1v1 defending.
What an excellent tackle from Austin Yearwood. And Francois has kind of had his number all night long over there on the right side of the pitch, but just great defending by Yearwood, stepping in and not lacking any confidence whatsoever here in the extra period.
Long ball sent the other way from Rochester. The crowds here at Capelli Sports Stadium looking for a foul, not going to get one from Bardale Pashaj. Enzo Martinez trying to get it over for Lewis Hilton. And we're starting to see some tired legs here in extra time.
And that's something that if Charlotte can continue to have these possession stints and ping the ball around the park as crisp as they've been trying to do, nice one-touch passes in and out of the channels, that's going to benefit them for sure. Obviously, that's what you want to do in general, but when you move into this extra time period and attrition starts to come into play, those 6'2", 6'3" frames that are weighing 190, 200, 210 pounds start to become a little bit heavier, and your leg starts to sag a little bit, your decision-making ability starts to fall behind.
See Bob Lilly barking orders from the Rochester touchline. Rochester will play on. Forbes holding off Joel Johnson, nominee for Defensive Player of the Year. Alex Martinez. And it's given away.
Seems to be a theme of the evening for the most part for the Independents going forward.
Hilton brings it down nicely for June Marquez Davidson. Callum Ross. Long for Yearwood on the near left side. Ball's going to stay in play. Good work from Alex Martinez. And now the aforementioned substitution is going to come on. Julian Boucher, the man on loan from DC United. Former Syracuse Orangeman for a couple of seasons. And Boucher is going to come on to replace none other than Wall Fall. So your main penalty kick taker off the field now. And Boucher onto the scene here in the 102nd minute.
Yeah, that's Bob Lilly going to the bench. You got to imagine Fall's got to be very fatigued and tired, and that's probably why he's coming off. And again, Julian very speedy, the German background as well, similar to Fall. And I'm sure if you're the Rhinos, you're just hoping with your recent performance in the last 15 or 20 minutes that you can hang on and maybe progress this thing a little bit further, but at the same time, got a lot more to play before that goes any deeper into this game.
Boucher made his professional debut at DC United in a CONCACAF Champions League matchup against Querétaro back in February. Lewis Hilton. He's trying to send it forward, hoping for Enzo Martinez. Sergio Campbell with some fresh legs. And last touch is going to be off of the Jamaican Campbell. It'll be a throw-in for Charlotte.
And I think Enzo Martinez, when that ball went into the corner, didn't realize that Farrow was sliding over that quickly and quite rapidly understood that he needed to win the ball back, and very well done by Enzo to win a throw-in.
One substitution remaining for Bob Lilly. Big collision there. And it looks like it's going to be a free kick for Rochester, albeit about 100 yards away from their goal.
Should he have a go?
Golden Glove winner, not Golden Boot winner.
Touche, my friend.
.74 goals against average for Gomez this season, .69 a year ago. Both good enough for the most prestigious award that a goalkeeper can win in the United Soccer League. Joel Johnson. Boucher, great ball along for Groff. All it took was one big positive touch forward and he would have been away. But gets held up. Now Boucher going out wide for Raymond Lee. Leaving it off for Forbes, a bit too short. Martinez with a good sliding challenge. Mike Jeffries certainly appreciates the effort on the defensive end. And actually it's going to be a throw-in for Charlotte. And probably a good call from Bardo Pashaj.
Yeah, once again, we see Martinez tracking back. Another turnover by the Independents, but Martinez not giving up on the play and just continuing to impose himself on this game in any way that he can.
Rochester win the ball back in a dangerous area. Groff trying to turn. Approaching the conclusion of the first half of extra time. Good job from Ryan James, literally just scrambling to get a touch on the ball. Over the top for Groff, but he's going to be offside. Groff can't believe it. And while it may just be millimeters, they all count the same, and it is offside.
Looks like Groff just missed it by that much, and that's probably going to bring us to the close, if not very close to the end of this first extra time.
Receive word from the fourth official. There will be no stoppage time added on to the first 15 minutes here in extra time. And just one more 15-minute slate. And if there's still no score, or still a tie score, we will head to penalties. Enzo trying to bring it down. Boucher met by a vicious challenge from Joel Johnson. Bardo Pashaj with a look at his watch, and that's going to do it for the first 15 minutes of extra time. Teams will flip-flop sides, and perhaps we will have a winner at the end of the second 15 minutes. Bob Lilly and Mike Jeffries will make some last-minute tactical changes before sending their team back out onto the field for what could be the last 15 minutes for either side. Rochester and Charlotte still 0-0. We'll be back in a few moments with the last 15 minutes of extra time.
Wherever you are, you'll find it online at robhonda.com. Want to know the monthly payment? Use our finance calculator and get pre-approved credit too. Have a trade-in? We'll tell you the value before you even come in. It's all online at robhonda.com.
There's another reason I'm here.
We're gonna add one last station.
No matter what's important in your life, M&T Bank wants you to enjoy more of it. With conveniences to make your life easier, we're here to help you spend less time banking and more time doing what you love.
When I grow up, I'm gonna redefine pizza. One that will change the history of pizza forever. A pizza with the most cheese and the most pepperoni. This is my dream, and I can do it. Because my mom and dad said I can accomplish anything. And I will do great things in life.
Sorry, kid, it's been done.
But my dream...
Introducing Little Caesars Extra Most Bestest Pizza. A large pizza with the most cheese and the most pepperoni for just $6.
Pizza, pizza.
You'll find it online at RalphHonda.com. We know you're busy. That's why we make buying a car easy. Shop our entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on the go, at your desk, or wherever you are. Click on the new generation at Ralph Honda.
Just about set for the second 15 minutes of extra time between Charlotte and Rochester. The home crowd here in Western New York trying to spur on the home side for what would be a very dramatic win here in the second half of extra time. Tyler Terrence along with former German pro Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us, and really in the first half of extra time, not much to write home about.
I think both squads are tired. They're mentally and emotionally drained, and you really hope that doesn't continue. But I think moving into the second extra time period, you're not going to see, in my opinion, a boatload of explosive play. It's probably going to be an untimely turnover or a mistake that's going to cost a team dearly coming down the stretch. But I do think we're going to get a winner here in the closing moments of this game, Tyler.
Well, we do have a couple of updates from around the USL Eastern Conference playoffs. New York Red Bulls 2 up 2-0 over Charleston. Ethan Cutler with the most recent goal, the product out of Colgate. And then for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, they have things in control right now, up 2-0 over Cincinnati. 2 goals from Marcel Schaefer, of all people, as he continues his magnificent 2017 campaign. But the task at hand, Charlotte and Rochester. And as I asked you at the beginning of the first extra time, Devin, do you see a goal in this extra time?
Yeah, I just said a second ago, I honestly think we're going to get a goal. I really do. And play was stagnant, but you can see the team's just still pushing forward here and there. I think the Rhinos struggled with the loss of Fall and have not really regained any former composure since then, but I think the Independents have pushed forward well. And either way, watch to see this open up a little bit, as I think we're going to get a second goal.
Francois. Good work just to keep it. Good ball in from Farrell. Raymond Lee off to the races now. Joined by Kennardo Forbes. Trying to slide it through. Joel Johnson with some good work to keep it in, but right to a player in a green jersey. Boucher. Johnson again, but stepping up is Farrell once more. Forbes. Into the box, just over the head of Graf. Certainly looked like deja vu. And now here's a shot, takes a deflection of Mizell, able to hang on to it, and Mizell is furious with the AR. Perhaps making an argument for offside, either on the Graf opportunity or the most recent shot. But that opportunity comes to nothing.
Yeah, extremely frustrated and making it felt on the sideline for sure. As you said, Tyler, I felt like Groundhog Day was coming back to haunt us. Very, very similar to the first goal that we saw from the Rhinos.
Johnson trying to go over the top. Sergio Campbell, the Jamaican substitute, able to win the defensive header. Charlotte will start over again. Duckett and Fairclough at the back for Mike Jeffries. Henrik Kalungi went off with an injury. Both coaches had to make a change at the back. Bob Lilly taking off Ryan Felix as well, replacing him with Sergio Campbell. Fight for the ball in the middle third of the park at the moment. Boucher couldn't find Forbes, and a clearly frustrated Kennardo Forbes.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, I mean, you've been going for 109 minutes. You got to find a way to find 11 more. You got to dig down deep, and the ball just isn't rolling your way. Play a little bit simpler, and your mind just can't keep up with your body. I think that's what we just saw right there.
Well, if it does go to penalties, we have 2 outstanding keepers between the sticks for either side. Tomas Gomez, back-to-back Golden Glove winner, and Cody Mizell, 4th in the USL in the save department. Joel Johnson bending it in, hoping for Siash. Campbell is there yet again. He's been great in the air for Rochester coming off the bench. Rochester looking for a quick counter. Groff will not be able to get there.
And you said it, Tyler. Campbell so impressive in his performance so far coming off the bench. And credit to Julian Boucher as well. He's really maintained a lot of possession for the Rhino squad since he's come on. He's definitely got the wheels to push the pace, but much more possession-oriented in his play so far.
Ross just trying to clear it away. Took a deflection. Siage. Ball traveled over the line. Be a throw in for Rochester. And we're getting word now that Stefan DeFregger is going to come in and replace Cristiano Francois. So that'll be the final substitute for Bob Lilly, and it's shocking that he still has one in his back pocket already in the 111th minute. A lot of faith in his guys, and better yet, all the fitness during preseason is paying off.
Yeah, and make no mistake about it, DeFregger, that is a tactical move for this team. If they progress into penalties, DeFregger, very talented technically.
Gets over the top. Francois was right on the scene, but beating him there was Cody Mizell.
And Lilly making sure that the former Dartmouth standout, Stefan DeFregger, can step in and help his team going forward. Obviously would like to see something with 9 minutes to play, but Lilly just mooning the final pieces to the puzzle if they progress any further.
James. Interplay with Boucher. Groff dispossessed. And after scoring the goal, he's really been shut down. I'm sure Mike Jeffries had a word with his center backs and central midfielders to make sure that he does not get another clean look.
Well, and it's interesting, Tyler. We talked about all the spacing issues and lack of communication and everything that went on in the first half and rolled over into the second half. Rochester gets their goal, and then Charlotte decides, hey, you know what? Now we're going to start playing. Let's figure it out. And they've done so for sure.
And now DeFregger, the native out of Guilford, New Hampshire, is going to come on, as Devin mentioned. Dartmouth alum, played all 4 years, was with the Wilmington Hammerheads from 15 to 16, first season with the Rhinos. And he's been a great rotation guy for Bob Lilly, and now stepping into a big spot, perhaps a super sub moment on the horizon for DeFregger.
Not really sure what the regulation or rules are in the USL in this day and age, but I think Lilly would mind if I gave him a little phone call, let him know I'm available.
I think he'd pass.
Wow. Wow, a hard no from Tyler Terrens, ladies and gentlemen.
Rochester, great little let through from Groff. Conardo Forbes working on Johnson. Forbes with a great move. Still Conardo Forbes. It takes a nasty deflection and it's in. It's DeFregger who claims it. What a goal for Rochester in the dying moments of extra time. 2-1 to the Rhinos.
And we talked about the spectacular goalkeeping that has been available for both squads all night long. Tomas Gomez and Cody Mizell making save after save after save. And Mizell just on the unfortunate end of a deflection. Conardo Forbes, what a nice little move. Gets ready to play it in the corner, says no thank you, goes for the far post. Actually trying to go near post, excuse me, should have gone to the far post. And you know what, DeFregger says, hey man, I'll show you where you should have gone. Let me help you out with that, my friend. 2-1 Rochester. Charlotte is on the ropes.
Just the second goal of the season for Stefan DeFregger, coming on just moments before scoring the goal. And I think it's fair to say that that was his first touch of the game, albeit an inadvertent one. And now Charlotte, with their backs against the wall, on the cusp of perhaps being eliminated by Rochester for the second year in a row in Western New York.
Oh, I'm sure the Independents feel snake picking for sure. Very, very, very frustrating. Mike Jeffries got to rally the boys and get them back on track here again. Things started to open up in the second half. I said I thought they would. I am a truth sayer, make no mistake about it. We did get our second goal.
And you saw the statistic there, very impressive from Bob Lilly and his side. Haven't lost a home playoff match since 2012. Back when Devin Kerr was still running and gunning. Still a little bit of time left for Charlotte to perhaps get an equalizer, but it's Rochester right now possessing, and a little keep away from Charlotte in their own defensive third. Finally cleared away by Fairclough. Boucher. Thought he was going to carry it to the corner for a brief moment. Now he's heading back in that direction with some help of Canardo Forbes, who's been all over the place, right side of the pitch, left side of the pitch, as well as in the middle. And it is going to be a corner for Rochester, with time dying down here at the Capelli Sports Stadium, and the Rhino faithful can smell an Eastern Conference semifinal berth.
Yeah, and well done by those guys playing a little two-man game down in the corner. Takes you all the way back to your college days, a race against the clock, and Canardo Forbes, the vet, telling Julian Boucher exactly what they want to do. They're going to play the game again. And I'll tell you what, the Independents are not responding well at all.
Boucher winning it back again. Charlotte can't even get it after their own defensive third. And now it's going to be a goal kick. And everybody's going to be moving forward for Mike Jeffries now.
And that's what you want to see. You see the motion from Austin Yearwood, show a little bit of urgency. Cody Mizell, have a little communication, push the boys high up the pitch. You've still got 5 minutes left. Everything doesn't need to be kickball. You can still play a little bit of possession here.
Dover clipping it forward. Canardo Forbes getting on his horse, tired legs, certainly about for both teams. And again, it is going to be a goal kick for Cody Mizell. And it's savvy play from Rochester. Every time you get the ball, there's no reason to try to go for goal or give them a reason to get back possession.
Yeah, very smart. Bob Lilly has these guys ready to go, and they know exactly what's at stake and how to get there for sure. You're going to see every time the ball comes to them, they're going to want to push it forward. You'll see the guys chase down, try and push it to the corner. And the Charlotte Independents need to have much more of a positive response. I get it. It's frustrating. You're on the road. You've gone down 2-1 in extra time, but you've still got a chance. You've still got an opportunity. Pick your heads up. Show a little bit more urgency. You know, band together like some brothers and go and get the job done.
Long ball sent ahead. Siage just trying to flick it along. Bit of a poor touch there. Johnson still trying to get there. It's going to fall for Siage. Numbers the other way for Charlotte. Early ball in. Gomez off of his line. Fairclough claiming that he was taken down, but that's certainly not going to interest Bardel Pashaj.
No, Pashaj not going to blow anything there, and Fairclough needs to be careful. Obviously doesn't want anything from a simulation standpoint, but also Charlotte's going to be much more exposed at the back line when you start to push numbers forward. As you can see Enzo Martinez trying to get in on the act that Cody Mizell had to deal with on that strange play we talked to you about where the referee blew the indirect kick right at the top of the box.
Well, Tomas Gomez simply said, okay, I'll punt it right through the two of you, being Enzo Martinez and Ashani Fairclough.
Tomas Gomez doesn't look like the person that likes to be trifled with in any way, shape, or form. Definitely want him on your side.
Well, Bob Lilly and the Rochester Rhinos certainly glad that that is the case. Back-to-back Golden Glove winner. He's been able to keep Charlotte out of the back of the net after the Enzo Martinez goal. They're on the brink of another Eastern Conference semifinal berth. And that one gonna run out of play. And Tomas Gomez, you can bet that he will be taking his sweet time. Gomez finally gets it away. Skip all the way through back for Cody Mizell, who rightfully so playing sweeper keeper with the situation at hand.
You got to wonder if Mike Jeffries and his squad have anything left whatsoever. It's turned into a track meet in the second OT session, and back and forth, back and forth. Not the prettiest that you're going to see, but still opportunities to be had nonetheless as the Independents continue to press.
Alex Martinez going to ground. That is a nasty challenge from the Uruguayan. And it's a straight red for Alex Martinez.
Yeah, I think Alex Martinez put himself behind the 8 ball with that challenge. Bardiel Passage he saw it, saw the fire in his eyes. Frustration from Alex Martinez for sure, and you see him come down. There is no chance that he is getting to this ball whatsoever, and he just goes in and 2-foots to Freger. And unfortunately, Alex Martinez is going to end his season on a low note. Solid performance from him all year long. Missing down the stretch, but decent shift here this evening, and it's going to be a rough ending to that young man's career here tonight.
And last year it was his brother Enzo Martinez who was sent off along with Metcalf and Drew Marquez Davidson. Charlotte finished with 8 players the last time these two teams met in the postseason, and now it's Alex Martinez who's sent off here. Just 1 minute of stoppage time, standing in between Rochester and a berth into the next round in the 2017 Eastern Conference postseason. DeFreger along for Graf. Bit of a heavy first touch. He's looking to possibly put it away. Mizell can't handle it. It will be a corner, and that might just do it.
I'll tell you what, right at the beginning of our broadcast, we talked about Graf and how he was so good up top, causing so much frustration for a back line. We called him the Iron Man because he just works and works and works. The guy has a tremendous engine and a boatload of work ethic, and credit to him right there in the 120th minute, going one-on-one, getting into Mizell and continuing to push forward and win that ball back for his team and get a very vital corner to close out this game.
And that's going to do it. The Rochester Rhinos are moving on. Exhaustion and elation for Bob Lilly's side. They will have a date with Louisville City in the next round. Stefan DeFreger with the inadvertent deflection goal to give Rochester the victory in extra time. Heartbreak City for Charlotte Independence for a second year in a row. They fall to Rochester in the Eastern Conference quarterfinals, still in search of their first win as the Charlotte Independence. It was a valiant effort from Cody Mizell and company, but they were not able to pull it out on the road. They got the equalizer in the 69th, but Johan Graf, Stefan DeFreger, as well as Conardo Forbes, too much to handle in the end for the Charlotte Independents, who might feel hard done by the deflection goal, but it's the Rhinos who are moving on, and we'll take a look at some of the best moments from those 120 minutes that you just saw. And for Rochester, it was Johan Graf who would end up scoring the initial goal for the Rhinos. As we'll take a look at some of the fouls, shots, and goals alike. Here is the Johan Graf goal. Great ball in from Raymond Lee.
Yeah, Jorge Herrera extremely frustrated with the referee and his decision to go there. The foul on Conardo Forbes, but Forbes, recognizing they had an opportunity in numbers, plays the ball quick down into Raymond Lee. Great service into Graf. Graf, great finish, and the Rhinos jumped out to an early 1-0 lead at the start of the second half.
And then it was Charlotte, somehow, some way, who would be able to find the back of the net and find this equalizer. Look at the vision from Jaime Siage.
I mean, Jaime Siage, we've said it before, and we're going to say it again. An absolutely spectacular back heel, the super sub of the evening, to keep his squad in it. Enzo Martinez gets the overlapping run in behind. Great vision from Siage. Better finish from Martinez, and able to notch this game up at 1 apiece.
It was a big sigh of relief for Charlotte, but they wouldn't be out of the woods just yet. Conardo Forbes with all sorts of twists and turns, and then Stefan DeFreger with his first touch of the match, an inadvertent one, and it ends up being a game-winning goal in the postseason.
And that is just everything technical that you want from a player whatsoever. Great touch in, back to the outside, has a little strike, deflection off DeFreger, and it's 2-1 Rochester Rhinos, the winning goal from super sub Stefan DeFreger.
Well, it was certainly a wild evening at the Capelli Sports Stadium as the Rochester Rhinos come away with a massive 2-1 victory in extra time. Valiant effort from Charlotte, but at the same time, you have to give credit for Rochester where credit is due, because they were magnificent throughout the entire 120 minutes.
I mean, both teams put in a really solid effort here tonight, and you know, it really was a sparring match. We saw a lot in the first half from the Rhinos. I think the Charlotte Independents did not know how to counterpunch, got back to basics. Mike Jeffries put his squad back on the pitch in the second half. They had a game plan. They executed to a T. They were able to tie it up, bring it to 1-1 off of that goal from, Forbes at first, with a great ball in to Graf off of Lee, and then counterpunched by by the Independents. Did a good job coming back, and just not enough left in the tank. And a lot of ingenuity down the stretch from the Rhinos. What a great goal. I mean, Forbes, we talked about his tactical capability. That was an excellent representation of it right there, and just pulled the ball back, had a go at goal. Sometimes great things happen to great teams, and we may see a great team coming down the stretch from the Rhinos.
So Charlotte, for the second year in a row, fall to Rochester on the road at the Capelli Sports Stadium. They will head to take on Louisville City in the next round of the 2017 USL Cup playoffs. And take a look here. It'll be Rochester traveling to Slugger Field. Couple of games underway right now. Last time we checked, New York Red Bulls 2 had a 2-0 advantage over the number 2 seed, the Charleston Battery in Charleston. FC Cincinnati trailing Tampa Bay Rowdies 2-0 last time we checked as well. Marcel Schaefer with both tallies for Tampa Bay, and now we're getting word it's 3-0 to New York Red Bulls 2, so that could completely change the complexion of terms of who's going to host in possibly the conference semifinals and the semifinals if FC Cincinnati is somehow able to pull an upset out of their bag as well. And then on the Western Conference, those games are going to be starting right around now as well. But it is most certainly the wonderful time of the year as the USL Cup playoffs are well underway. And this match here at Capelli Sports Stadium was the epitome of what the USL Cup playoffs are all about. Drama, heartbreak, and elation alike. It was a great night in Western New York for Rochester, not so much for Charlotte for the second year in a row. Rochester Rhinos headed to Louisville in the next round of the USL Cup playoffs. For Devin Kerr, I'm Tyler Terrence. The final score from Capelli, 2-1 in favor of the Rhinos. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and we'll talk to you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.